All right. Oh, wait a second here.
Can people see us? That shouldn't be happening.
Send in the video.
Interesting.
I wonder if we're live or not.
Let's
see real quick.
Can you scroll to the bottom of the super chats, Ant?
Yeah, let's see what's going on. We just have a little bit of a technical thing here. I didn't know what's going on here. We're gonna.
It says we're live.
It says we're live, but I don't know if you guys are actually seeing us live. So give us a second here. We're gonna find out if
these ads, you know.
Yeah, I know. I've got an ad on my own podcast, so hopefully you guys
we're
are
live.
seeing us. Okay,
I see
we see our live. Okay, cool. We're
Doesn't
live.
matter to me.
For some reason, we don't have a pre-war on our side, but that's all right. Well, welcome to
Been Wondering.
So, I it's kind of interesting. I've said that podcasting to me is a huge part of my future. I've said this, that, I do believe that when you believe in something, you move forward.
Correct.
And sometimes, I'll give you an example, like Snake Bites TV. We did for 8 years where we didn't make $1. The money we made, originally we made no money because there was no partner program on YouTube. And then when we ultimately were making money, it was pennies. And
most of that was probably going back into production stuff anyway.
Yeah, and even once we did make a little bit of money, it was paying for editing and stuff. Because I didn't edit, I didn't film, I didn't do any of that stuff in the beginning. But I still did it for all those years because I believed in something that ultimately ended up working out. I believe the same thing about podcasting.
I agree with you 100%. Yeah. One, it's a huge climate right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the long format talk, but also you've lived a very interesting life with very interesting people. And I think that's something that not all podcasts have. Obviously Joe Rogan's a great example, but not a lot of people are like that. So
I think there's a couple things. I think that number one, the experience of 30 years of doing crazy shit all around the world. But on top of it, and also knowing some insanely amazing people. So there's a lot of the stories never stop. But on top of that, I'm unbelievably curious person. Yeah. So obviously we have this kind of checking in on Wednesday, which is the family, which is great. I think it's really going to always be a lot of fun because we have a dynamic, interesting, weird life, and like you think even like Noah. And my daughter Jade too, they were raised really differently.
Definitely different than I've been raised.
Yeah,
I had a pretty conventional life as far as that, and it's like, crazy.
My daughter said when she went to college, she said she called me up once and she said, Dad, I didn't realize what a crazy life we had until I got to college. Yeah. And she was around normal people. Yeah. And that's not to say there's anything wrong with normal people. I'm just saying that we've lived a crazy life, but also I'm unbelievably curious about everything.
That's for sure.
I'm curious about life, and I can be just as curious talking to a mechanic about fixing up an exhaust as I am about someone that's dealing with a lion or something like that. Because I find everything and I find people's life. So anyways, my point is checking in Wednesday. We've got obviously choices with Noah, which I'll always support my son in doing the things that he's going to do. And then there's this Saturday night, which might not always be Saturday night. It's a roving thing.
Just depends on the people's schedule that we try to bring in.
Exactly. And this, of course, is the Been Wondering one. And this is the podcast that I feel has the most potential.
I agree.
Because of the guest. Unfortunately, you're my guest, and that's probably a horrible idea.
I know. I tricked you into this one real quick because we had somebody else playing, and then I dipped into the seat real quick.
Remember?
Remember Eddie Van Halen was supposed to be here?
Well, he said he couldn't come. Eddie's on the... I've got 25 texts from Eddie saying, where are you at? I'm at the airport.
And now I showed up and ruined the whole thing, bro.
No, but I really did think that why not start off this new podcast area and the new kind of Been Wondering with someone that spends every day with me
all day, every day,
Hell 7 days a week. I mean, we rarely don't see each other. I mean, on a very rare occasion, there's a day that we're not together, and
for like a year and almost like 4 months, and 4 months. It's 15, been a bit, months, and we've gone through so much crazy shit and done so much crazy shit. So
and you've seen. I've always said, you've seen the best and the worst of me. As far as
you ride or die, bro. You know what I mean? I've definitely we've gone through a lot together, and like you said, I've seen you. Obviously, everyone knows you had a pretty big stent with anxiety within the last few months, and I mean, I'm there with you every day, good or bad. You know what I mean? And it's like I look at it. Let me back up. I'm obviously super blessed that I got to meet you, that I get to be a part of this crazy ass life. And I think there's no other way I could repay than to just be there for you when you need somebody. You know,
well,
what I mean?
Appreciate it, and that's the thing. I always talk to people about, attitude over altitude. And I think that's important. And I think that this is a little advice to anybody that wants to be successful. Surround yourself with great people.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, I saw this thing with Bill Gates the other day that he was interviewed, and he said, "Do you think Elon Musk is the new Steve Jobs?"
Okay.
And his response was, first off, he said, if you were in a room with Steve Jobs and Elon Musk, there'd be no way that you would think they were the same person.
Interesting.
He said, because Elon Musk is a hands-on engineer.
That's correct. Yeah,
he said Steve Jobs was a visionary and really knew how to hire people to get things done.
Yep.
So my point is I am more in the ilk of the Steve Jobs in the sense that I have a lot of vision, a lot of ideas, but I also want to surround myself with amazing people
that can help bring it to life, right? Because you're right. Like Steve Jobs was more of a creative and an artist and stuff, and
a marketer.
Which is also art. You know what I mean? And it's like a psychological art. And so he didn't know the science and, like you said, the engineering about the technical side, and how else to do that but then to find awesome people that can carry that stuff out for you.
And I think the thing that was innovative about him was that he was unconventional. You know, you didn't have to have a college career. You didn't have to do anything. You just had to be someone that was like, all right, this dude can do it. So it's attitude. It's surrounding yourself with people that believe in a vision and believe in a direction.
That you're going.
Yeah, because, listen, our life is always evolving.
Constantly.
You know what I mean? It's like there's not a day that goes by that something radical isn't potentially changing or whatever. And if you don't have people that really believe in that vision, you're going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially with someone like me, because anyone that's been around me for any length of time knows that I am like the wind. I mean, I'm going all over the place. I can sometimes pivot in a second. I can be like going like in a direction and be like, this was the wrong direction. We need to go completely opposite the other way.
Right, and if you were like so invested in the idea of a direction A, you might not be willing to understand that direction B is where you're going to go, and are you willing to follow that path? And you've known me for a while now. I'm very easygoing. Like it doesn't matter what we're doing. I'm pretty much down for anything.
Yeah, that's the thing I love. And so let's back up a little bit. So obviously I wanted to have Jay on because I thought it would be interesting. Not only we'll be able to tell some stories about the last 15 months, but also talk about what we're going to do over the next 10 years or the rest of our lives for that matter. And but obviously we met at Gatorland
in Orlando, Florida.
Yeah, of all places. So you heard that I was going to be there.
Yes.
And you were there, and I think Savannah.
So you
reached out to Savannah.
Exactly. I reached out to Savannah. It's funny. I moved to Florida. I wasn't a big fan. I missed New Jersey, missed my family and friends and stuff like that. But when I left New Jersey, I said, well, the one good thing is I get to meet Brian Barczyk because he's going to come to Gatorland and I'm meeting him. And I knew I was moving to near Orlando. So Christmas that year, I think it was 2018, I actually went to Gatorland with my family. We had no family around, so let's just go to Gatorland.
Great
and
place.
It was wonderful. And I literally walked. Savannah seen me. And she's like, I know you from somewhere. And I'm like, no, I literally just moved here, but I know you. And we started a little bit of a friendship. And I seen you put out a video that you were saying, I'm trying to do some big projects, go to Africa, and I need an editor and a videographer. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm that guy. So I emailed, but you get a million emails a day. So 2 days later, you're like, I'm going to Gatorland. And I'm like, here's the opportunity. I need to get in front of Brian because I always felt I was very similar to you in the sense that very whimsical, very creative, very emotionally driven by things I'm passionate about.
Sure.
And I literally seen you there, and I seen you in Savannah at Gatorland hanging out. And I actually I was waiting on a call to get hired at another job.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So as soon as Savannah turned around, she was like, "Hey," my phone rings. So I'm like, "Oh no!" So I dip off. I take my phone call. I get that job, and then I'm looking for you guys, and you're nowhere to be found. And I'm like,
we're like, get the hell away from
yeah.
Let's hide from this guy.
Yeah, he's stinky. But so I kind of got bummed out because I was like, I know you go behind the scenes a lot. I was like, the chances of me seeing you again are probably pretty slim.
Right.
So I walked around, and here you come. You and Savannah are like walking down past the big cats and stuff like that. And I ran up, I was like, oh my God, so nice to meet you. And I wanted to tell you quickly who I am because I know you're busy. And so I was like, listen, I love your stuff. I love your content. I've been watching you for years, and I seen you wanted an editor and a filmer. I'm your guy.
Right.
And it was crazy. You were like, here, take out your phone.
Yeah.
And you gave me your phone number, and I'm like blushing. I'm like freaking out. I'm like, here's somebody I truly respect, willing to talk to me. You think when you meet your hero or something like that, you kind of get pushed to the side. It was like, you were so genuine. We talked for a bit, and then our relationship kind of kindled over the next couple months as we would talk like every weekend or something. We'd get on the phone and chat, and that's pretty much how we met. And eventually you were like, come down.
Yeah, come on up. And we flew you up. And the thing is, before that, I was doing all the filming, all the editing, and running everything. It was just really exorbitant, insane amount of work to do. Yeah. And really also, I think that I wanted another, like people may not know this, but the first almost 3 years of the vlog, I was everything. I came up with every idea. I filmed everything. I edited everything. I uploaded everything. There was no second eyes on anything.
Right.
And although it was maybe special in a way because it was 100% organically me, the fact was I felt like I needed another creative, and really this last 6.5 months has been maybe the most challenging in the sense that we haven't been able to go anywhere at all. So like to tell a story over and over and over again every day with having a fresh set of eyes is really helpful. But
because there's days or weeks where we're both like kind of just bouncing off each other of like, all right, so we come in, let's take a look at the zoo, let's take a look at BHB, and what can we even tell people today that's happening?
And that's the one thing I want everyone to understand is like we don't have like a whiteboard where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
We tried, but it doesn't work.
Yeah, we tried. It just doesn't work. We want to come in, like you said, look around.
Yeah.
What's happening? Did Ivy shed today? Yeah. Did this person do? Did this
person take a doo-doo?
Did this animal, does this need to eat?
Is it sitting in a weird spot that looks kind of cool? Everything's a story to a degree. It's just how you have to train your eyes to look for those things, right?
And that's and so having a second set of eyes is unbelievably helpful. And but then and honestly, it's just the emotional support of everything as well. So but I think that I think when we first set out, we were thinking we'd have a lot more adventures because COVID came up. This year we were slated to go to literally Australia, South Africa. I wanted to go to Indonesia. I wanted to hit New Zealand when we were in Australia. Not to mention a bunch of other places around the country. We've probably been in LA a ton, and we've been literally in Michigan since March. Since February, really.
And you got to remember before that, like we were building the zoo. You know what I mean?
So we're in Texas a bit. And a bit.
It's been
too much
crazy,
bit.
man.
Too much of a bit.
It's funny how no matter how crazy your life is, you could be a fighter pilot. You eventually like fall into like, this is my life, and you have to like sometimes take a step back to realize like how much has happened since I've been here. You know what I mean? And even though we haven't traveled a lot, we've been through stuff that even like it's crazy that we've even been through. Like whether it's the zoo shutting down, literally the day after we get everything done.
Yeah, well, 3 days, but
but like the day
Friday,
after the
Saturday,
first weekend. Sunday,
we got a video that'll be out this like Tuesday.
Yes.
Which, by the way, I got to tell you about that.
For sure.
Something about a brand deal that I needed to do. It was supposed to be for Monday, but anyways, that's about the 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
2-year. So we had the 2-year anniversary. Obviously, our first year anniversary, we had like almost 1,000 people.
It was a huge bash. It was crazy.
Bash. This year was a quiet me, you, and the crew.
You, crew, and a camera.
And a camera, and that was the end of the 2-year anniversary. Yeah. Things are a little bit different now, but we are geared up. I really believe that 2021 will be traveling a lot again.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we'll be back. I love the fact that looks like Heidi pushed
the show
a week so that Lori could go to her wine tasting
and still go to South Africa.
So hopefully that'll be that's all the way in May. So hopefully by May we'll be looking good for that. Obviously, Australia, when they open up, because they're pretty shut down right now. I've been talking to my friend Peter Birch and a few of my other friends in Australia. So I can't wait to get down to see them, obviously, this year. I did talk with Keo, my friend from Indo, who's really well connected.
That's somewhere I'm like super, super excited to go to.
Yeah, Indonesia is one of one of those places that's really magical.
I agree.
Mean, I always say, like, there's certain places on the planet that just feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
And in Indonesia, there were some places in Indonesia, in particular, the Flores Islands, in Labuan Bajo, and Bali. I'll be honest with you. So let me.
Yeah, hit me with the Bali facts.
I'll hit you with the Bali facts, right? So everyone thinks of like Bali as like this beautiful like vacation spot, oasis. I'm going to be honest with you. It's nice.
It's okay.
But if I would rather be in Hawaii 1,000 times more than Bali when it comes to beauty.
Okay.
Right? Because Bali is still a third world country.
Yeah.
A lot of the island is pretty dirty.
Yeah.
Pretty run down.
Littered and stuff like that.
And I'm not trying to bash
anyone. No. Absolutely not.
I loved Bali. As a matter of fact, the place we stayed, Keo, got us this
the
dope villa that was like unbelievable. It had its own private pool.
Yeah, tell them to hook it up again too.
Oh
that's a dope spot.
It's unbelievable. And the beaches there were really cool. There's no doubt about that. That was awesome. But I was a little surprised, like when I think of like, Bora Bora, or like some of these, whatever Somalian islands, Samoa Islands. I'm sorry, I guess Polynesian Islands. What I meant to say is that, you think of this blue.
Perfect water,
like,
perfect.
And Bali wasn't that way at all.
Interesting, kind of brackishy.
Like the water was a little dirty. It was a little not terrible,
not like well kept. I guess, right?
I felt. But anyways, not to bash on Bali. Anyways, I still loved Bali. It was still great.
Yeah,
but
of course.
When you got out to the Flores Islands, totally different. I mean, that water was pristine. The island seemed untouched.
Yeah.
It was really pretty spectacular.
So
I think that when we get down now, that being said, Jakarta, I love Jakarta.
Okay, interesting. And now that's a big city, right? I don't know much about
huge city.
Yeah,
huge city. Anthony, can you pull up how many people are in Jakarta? The population, it's got to be 10 million, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know though. Population of Jakarta.
Yeah, and now as far as like a city goes, obviously, is it like a third world country city, or is it like New York?
It's like New York. It's like New
okay.
York. Yeah, definitely like New York. Yeah, so 10,700,000 in
wow, that's crazy.
So it's a big city. Smog like you can't believe.
Really?
I mean, like it could be a sunny day and you aren't going to see the sun.
So like when we had the wildfires, or we didn't have the wildfires.
Yeah, very smoggy. But still, Jakarta's real cool. My point is, I still loved it there in Jakarta, and it was really a great time. So Indonesia is definitely a must this coming up year, and there's so many adventures. But our next, I mean, the closest adventure we're going to have is coming up, hopefully, if mentally I can handle it, which I'm going to push myself the hardest I can.
Yeah.
November 1st, we leave on a 13-day trip.
13-day trip. Going from here to Vegas and then back, but taking some cool routes so we can see some wild stuff, right?
Yeah, and I'll give everyone kind of the really quick rundown about it. I literally spent like an hour and a half, 2 hours yesterday.
Yeah, we just talked about it this morning.
Yeah.
So
do you? Have you ever been on MapQuest?
Yeah, back in the day, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, MapQuest was the only way I could figure out like from point A to point B.
So that I was gonna, I've been wanting an app like that forever, where you could like a road trip Google Maps, right? Where you plan out the road trip, you put all your pins, and then it gives you the total distance. And you can't do that. Why can't you do that?
On MapQuest, it's maybe not quite that easy.
Yeah.
But you can do it. So basically, I mean, I knew like the route we were going to be able to take. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave here. We're going to drive to St. Louis area.
Yeah.
We're going to visit a collection of reptiles in St.Ouis. We're going to then drive down into Oklahoma.
Yep.
We're going to do 2
reptile collections.
Hopefully, and these are all hopefuls. I mean,
we still have to make calls and talk to people.
But these are people that I've talked to in the past about doing it, and I'm hoping they're still going to be open arms and,
for sure.
and available.
I'm sure most will be.
Yeah. So we'll do a couple collections in Oklahoma. Then we're going to zip to through Texas Panhandle.
Yeah, Amarillo.
Probably start in Amarillo, just because
40-ounce steak.
Yeah, 40-ounce steak. Whatever the heck it is. Just whatever they do in Amarillo.
Yeah.
It's just a cool place. And then we're going to head up to the Petrified Forest.
Yeah, which I've never even seen before.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And you want to pull up the Petrified Forest real quick for me?
Petrified Forest in New Mexico.
Yeah.
It is legitimate.
So now what's the deal with this? Is it an actual, like, forest of petrified wood and petrified trees?
It's a forest of petrified wood.
I wonder how that even happened.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Petrified.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to come up.
Yeah. Petrified? Type of petrified forest. Yeah. I don't know how to spell it either, but just do your shot.
If you do,
there you go.
PE. As soon as you hit PE, you got it. So you can kind of start to see it. You got this up, Ant, for everyone to see?
Yep. Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's just look and see. I mean, this is just so dope. Why is it not loading?
Yeah, scroll down. There you go.
So there you go. I mean, it's just. I mean, again,
that looks beautiful.
It's like, it's pretty wild. I mean, I drove through there many years ago.
Look at all the colors, huh?
Yeah, and I just thought it would be cool to take a little time in the Petrified Forest. We'll then head over to Phoenix.
Yes,
going to hit the Phoenix Herpetological Society, which is a cool zoo. It's got a ton of really cool stuff. We then make it to Vegas.
Yes, for Noah's birthday.
We're going to spend a few days. I spent the about a half hour, 40 minutes on the phone with Elise. Pyro chick that we just legitimately met on the podcast like last week.
Yeah, last week. And she got in contact with me first, then you.
And me.
And then you guys talked on the phone. So what's the deal? What are we doing?
Oh, my gosh. Well, first, I don't know what we're doing. But first off, just such a cool person.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, she's a pyrotechnician. So she hangs out with Metallica, Motley Crue, Slipknot. I think you said Drake.
She did the one concert he did at the Bellagio.
And so I mean, just I can only imagine. As a matter of fact, I told her I wanted to fly her in for a podcast.
That's a great idea.
Because I mean, the stories that she has to have about blowing stuff up.
Yeah, you got to have seen a couple people get messed up, right? Like 100%.
She told me a story with her and Vince Neil, but I won't go into it.
Okay,
I'll let her tell it.
Yeah.
But where like there was a little tiff because she didn't blow him up, because she was supposed to hit a mark and he was in the spot, and then he was mad that she didn't do it, but she was like, but then you would be on fire,
Yeah.
But I'll let her tell that story
for
later
sure.
on. But
so we'll meet up with her.
And we'll definitely blow some stuff up, which is going to be really ridiculous. Go out in the desert,
drone shots of shit blowing up. That's my
we'll
favorite.
do some great stuff. We're going to spend a couple days in Vegas. So we're going to have to film out to where we have a couple days off in Vegas.
Yes, so we
can,
and that should be pretty, especially if we're hitting a couple collections. As long as everything goes well, we should be pretty good, and we'll have stuff before that.
Yeah, so we're not going to skip any days, but there'll have to be some buffers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Then, this couple days, so Noah turns 21.
Yes, which is crazy.
So my daughter, when she turned 21, we did a Vegas trip.
Yeah, I heard a couple stories about it.
It was pretty epic. It was pretty ridiculous. I don't drink and do drugs, so I was sober every day. And I would wake up every morning and go to like Red Rock Canyon, hiking and all that stuff, whereas they were sleeping until noon or 1 o'clock because they were partying all night. And
luckily, we're not really into that either.
Yeah, so I think that's what happens. We'll hang out. Like, I don't mind hanging out till 2, 3 in the morning.
Agreed.
Because I'm going to be sober, but I can still be up at 7 in the morning and
go and hang out and get some herping maybe done in the morning and stuff.
Herping, Red Rock Canyon, whatever the case may be. There's so much. Hoover Dam's not far away. Do some fun stuff. Get back with those guys. Do whatever we're going to do. Blow some stuff up with Elise. And then we take the northern route back. So we're going to head right from there to Salt Lake City.
Yep.
We'll probably stop in with Sequest, our friends over there.
Yeah, which is great. I would love to see how they're doing with all this craziness going on. So
do some stuff there. Plus that's it's getting closer to the. I'm really interested in the Stingray side, right? Because we're talking about doing the 3.0 with Stingrays. And I really want to pick their brain a little bit more about
figure out like how they're keeping them, and because they have, I don't remember exactly, maybe I missed it, but they have that big tank with the stingrays, right, where we swam with the mermaid and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, how big is yours? Are you thinking yours is going to be compared to that? Like probably a third of that,
probably
right?
About a third of that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that they had probably. I bet you theirs was 100,000 gallons.
Yeah,
ours will probably be 25,000, 30,000 gallons, something like that. Like ours will be like the size of a pool. Whereas theirs was like the size of a big pool.
And they obviously have the Sloth too, so I'm sure picking the brain about stuff like that too.
Although we might get the Sloth before then, I don't know. But anyways, we'll see. I don't know what's going to happen there.
Yeah. But so then we're going to hit from there to Yellowstone, which I can't even believe. You said that this morning, I almost cried, bro. Like, that's monumental, That's somewhere I really love.
Yeah, and then off from there to Rapid City.
Yeah.
South Dakota. By the way, only 2 states I haven't been to.
And what are they?
South Dakota and Alaska.
So we're going to
knock off one off the list. I will have Alaska left. And we actually had someone from Alaska here at the Reptarium about a month ago.
Okay.
And I've met a couple people from Alaska. But he said that he was moving. He lived in I want to say he lived in Maine or something like that.
Oh, okay,
and then
cool.
He's moving back to Alaska.
I remember this person.
Yeah,
actually, yes.
So anyways, I'll get to Alaska eventually, and then I can check off the last one. But so we're gonna hit Rapid City. And then we've got 17 hours home.
To Chicago?
We'll probably stop in Chicago and do something because why not? And then we'll hit home.
Home.
So that's the epic road trip that's ahead of us.
I think it's going to be a blast, dude. I mean, anytime you get a bunch of people together to do something like this, there's always going to be crazy stories and stuff that'll happen. But even just the reptile collections along the way that we're going to see, I think are going to be really cool, especially because now we, I've grown a lot as a filmer, obviously being with you. So I'm excited to like refilm even Sequest. Like, last time I was there, I shot with totally different stuff. So it's going to be cool to retell that story, you know?
And that's the one thing I think, it would be interesting to talk about a little bit is, the challenges of like filming every day. Yeah.
And it's funny, right? Because there's a lot of good that comes with it in the sense that like, you get to guess and check yourself really quickly, right? So normally if I was a normal filmer or something, maybe I filmed weddings. I'd film maybe 1 or 2 weddings a weekend and then edit it during the week. But I don't really get to like try new stuff out because you're like kind of in like, panic mode. Like we got to get the ring shot, got to get this done. Where here I get to kind of like, all right, I'm going to try this cool shot out. And then I look at it that night and then I'm like, oh, that was sweet, or no, I'm never doing that.
Or I
again.
could do this a little different.
Right,
that
right.
would have been better. Yeah.
So that part's really cool. But you're right. Like, I mean, when you're filming, and especially, all right, let's say when we're looking at ball pythons during the breeding season, right? I mean, we do a lot of like, B-roll of you searching through and stuff, like looking at the different the mamas and stuff. And it gets hard to not repeat yourself and to like make the same B-roll sequence over and over
again.
So that would probably be the biggest challenge is like staying fresh.
Right.
And I think that comes a lot with like just watching a lot of movies, watching a lot of TV shows, watching other vloggers, other YouTubers, and then just try to grab ideas from as many places as possible because you'll get very stagnant.
Yeah, and
quickly.
that's the hard part. We don't want people to be like, oh, this is boring. We always talk about the fact that, some other YouTubers might, so like say smaller collection YouTubers, they might cut 5 clutches a year, and like each one of those things get hundreds of thousands of views, and then we cut like 150 clutches of like banger animals,
and the first ones get a lot of views.
The first ones are great, and by the end people are like, it's just another pastel leopard clown banana.
Exactly, unless you're like a real like I'm a ball python freak, and unless you're into that. You probably are just looking at it as like he's just cutting eggs again.
Cutting eggs again. Yeah. No, it's another cutting egg.
Which is unfortunate because I mean, the people that do get it are like, it's like a game show or something like Deal or No Deal. You're like is it it? Is it it? Is it it?
Well, what's so funny is that, like I said, I hear both sides of the spectrum. I hear some people are like, I'll be honest, it just gets a little bit repetitive. Yeah. And then the other people are like, I love your egg cutting. That's my favorite.
That's why I come here.
Yeah, and so you get like this really weird dynamic. But you want to take a couple super chats and then we'll keep our dialogue going.
Yeah, let's roll.
Let's get a couple what you got your super chats here?
Right. So we got Laura Linscombe. I love you guys. Keep up the great work. And she sends some love.
And that is, by the way, this is Anthony on the other, the
disemboweled voice is on the other side. Yeah, that's Anthony. We got Haley.
Haley Nicole said, hey, Lori, Brian, Noah, and Jay, excited to be here.
They're not even all here.
They're not even here, but thank you. Lori's upstairs at the Reptarium, and Noah is probably trying out his Sherlock.
His Sherlock pipe.
Yeah, his Sherlock pipe. He actually put out a new video today.
Really? Well, we just watched it just 2 minutes ago. Yeah,
just watched it before the thing, and it's. I'm very proud of what he's doing right now. I mean, he's expressing himself as himself. He's going way off brand with what his content is, but it's
uniquely him.
It's uniquely him, and I really think it's going to be something that works out well.
Awesome. It's Courtney says you love Yellowstone. Watch for the buffalo moose.
Buffalo moose.
Oh, that sounds cool. And Bear, hit up the Badlands while in South Dakota. Good hiking in Wyoming.
Yeah, I've actually heard the Badlands is something that I'd like to do for sure.
You can scroll up a little bit. We got it.
We got some more?
Oh, no. Okay, go down.
Oh, yeah.
We got Amanda dropped the big old
Yay. She says, just an idea of how to help a sloth fit into your reptile world. You could keep a few snake enclosures in the sloth room with snakes that share the same environment as sloth. Make it like a little sloth ecosystem.
It's not a terrible idea. It's not a terrible idea, and we have thought about it. The only thing I don't know is how the USDA would feel about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because
is that now part of their...
well, not so much part of it because they don't govern reptiles. Yeah. But my concern is, will they look at it as dangerous? Because heaven forbid, and this is, hey, listen, we on occasion have let a couple snakes out.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. We're not foolproof. And God forbid a snake ever got out and hurt the sloth.
Yeah, but it's just not worth it.
So I've thought about that because, I mean, obviously I've thought of all kinds of things, and it's not a terrible idea at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right fit right now.
Right.
That doesn't mean that down the road
it's not something possible.
Right. But right now
we just want to get the sloth and make sure we do a great job with it.
And that's the
right?
thing. We're really embarking on something like, listen, I could put a Komodo dragon in next week and feel completely confident to take care of that
Absolutely.
animal. This is walking into the only mammals I've ever dealt with have been rodents and dogs.
Yeah.
So I've done a ton of research. I've talked to 1 million people. I've heard all the pros and cons. We're trying to develop the best possible plan to make this sloth the best possible
experience for the sloth as well as us.
Yeah,
right?
as well as us. But the biggest thing is that we've already really curtailed what our plans were.
Right.
Because the original plan when I thought of this was like, hey, we're going to have Saturday night. Anyone can hold the sloth they want for a small fee.
Yeah.
We've already curtailed to where probably no one's going to hold the sloth. You know what I mean? Like, because it might be too stressful for the actual animal. So we'll always err on the side. Now you'll be able. So let me just back up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sloth, like, after gathering all the information that we've gathered on sloths, talking to all the people, is that there are the occasional sloth that can go from person to person to person, but a lot of times it wants to bond with 1 or 2 people.
Right, almost like a sugar glider. A lot of mammals do that type of stuff too.
So what we probably do, we'll have myself and one other keeper that's basically in charge of the sloth, and we will carry it around, and people can pet it and take pictures
with you and the sloth. Yeah.
And we'll also have an experience where you can go in, like, for small fee.
Yeah.
You can go in, you can feed it, pet it, take pictures, do all that other stuff. But the actual holding part probably is something that's going to be rare. I'm not going to say never happens, but very rare, because we have to keep the animals'
safety in mind.
Yeah,
and like you said, not to stress it out, right? It's not that. I think regardless, people getting the experience, like, they get to go in the room, feed it, whatever.
Right.
I think the holding part is not that big of it.
The problem is that Lori said it perfectly. She said, sometimes my perception of what people think is cool is different from what people is cool.
Right.
Because I get to do such crazy shit.
Right, exactly. So like, to you, it's like, I need to hold it. But for most people, it's like, I get to be 2 feet away from my spirit animal.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like,
for most people to get in a room and pet a sloth is going to be something they'll cry about.
Right.
For me, I'm like, can I hold that?
Yeah, I want to brush its teeth.
Yeah, like, can I walk around with that?
Yeah.
So I think I got to sometimes pull back on my expectations.
Right. And look at it from a layman point of view. Most people haven't done anything like even the reptarium. That's the thing, is like, we hold snakes all the time, but like, people come here and they're like, I can't even, like, this is the first snake I've ever held in my life. Hence
the stickers.
Yeah, I know. We got the stickers, man.
We got the stickers. You come here to the reptarium, hold your first snake, you get yourself a sticker.
So I actually have a question for you, Brian.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes. So when I first came on, right? How was the transition period for you? Yeah. Because obviously you went from filming like kind of like, all right, well, like, I just have to get it done today at some point. So I'm here until 8. I'll just kind of film throughout my day.
Right.
And then it kind of, I would assume it became more like structured when I was here, because, obviously we both are trying to do it together. So,
there were times where I didn't turn the camera on until 5 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying.
Before,
versus now it's like we come in at 9 or, we talk a little bit, you watch the vlog, upload your stuff, and then we get filming.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a transition, you know. I mean, it was the first month or two was difficult because not just difficult from, like a structure standpoint, but also we were trying to find our way.
Yeah.
If you remember early on, we were filming hundreds of clips a day.
Yes.
And sometimes I think that first week or so, we were filming like 12, 14 hours a day. Then you were going home and editing 6-8 hours. Or whatever,
I would be, it was a full-time gig.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I think we learned, we were adjusting, but also me, I had this routine where I would wake up. I'd wake up in the morning at like 6:37. I would literally like go on my couch, spend 2.5 hours editing. Hopefully in time, by the time I launched the vlog at 9, I could be rendering the vlog as I'm launching. And so that was a routine that I had for 3 years, every single day. And then all of a sudden, like, now I don't have that routine
at
anymore.
all.
And it was a little bit of a transition adjustment, like, to let go.
I agree. And like, and not only that, but like, you're now, obviously, like, we didn't know each other super well when I came here. It's like, it's not like we were friends for 10 years. Like, you met me at Gatorland. We talked some on the phone. You actually sent me a couple vlogs to edit while I was in Florida. And then I came out here, shot, and then I moved here a month later.
Yep.
So
it was quick.
It's a lot of trust to put into a young, I was 25 at the time or 24. It's like to put into a 24-year-old kid on your business, you know what I mean? Your YouTube channel.
I think that, it was about the attitude. I knew that you were, you really showed that your attitude was, let's just do what we have to do.
Exactly.
And the one thing, doing television, like I have in the past, as well as, maybe we'll do in the future.
Yeah.
Little teaser there. Little teaser about some TV stuff.
Yeah.
I always said I would never do TV again, but there's a chance
But there's always a maybe.
There's always a chance there might be something in the works right now, but we'll talk about that later. That's for another podcast. But not to say it's going to happen, but there's some stuff going on. But my point is that the guys that really did great in production were guys, and I'm always this way too. It's like, it doesn't matter what it takes, you just do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you want me to sit outside till 4 in the morning getting a time lapse of the night sky?
Yeah.
I'm your guy.
Yeah, I remember being in Kingaroy, Queensland.
Okay.
And with a production crew for Discovery Channel, and they wanted a time lapse of the sunrise.
Yep.
And so this one dude, his name was Tom, had to go out at 4:30 in the morning.
That's my boy.
Hike out onto the top of this mountain and sit there for 2.5 hours with a time lapse for something that probably never was even used.
Never even used, and even if it was used, it was literally less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Yeah, and listen, that's a dude that's doing it for a production. I'll do it for myself because I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So,
but that was the thing that I knew we'd get along, because it's like that's how my life is.
And that was the thing. When you would call me, I would be like at my other job, and I would be like, because I really felt that like we could do great things together. So I was like, as much as this is my job, like you were my priority. So like I'd be like, gotta go, boss. I was like, and I would sit and just like sit right by the elevators and talk to you for like an hour about future plans, and it was almost like we were both picking each other's brains constantly.
Seeing if this was the courtship was going to work. And
we were courting. It was a good mating call.
Courting.
yeah.
But it's like I said, it's been a crazy year and a half, and we went through. The world is just. It's wild what the world has gone through, and we've had a lot of conversations. I mean, you can imagine just driving to Texas and back.
Yeah,
it's a
we don't listen to
drive.
Guys, you guys might not know this. We don't like listen to music usually.
No, we're just
talking for 17 hours.
Yeah, and we've done that now 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times
both ways.
Yeah,
not to mention we've driven to
Nerd.
Yeah, Nerd, which was 12 hours, and
even just Indiana stuff like that.
A bunch of times,
and I think it's so cool because we're obviously super busy, so there's not many times we have hours to talk. Like this is like 2 hours to talk is like rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we're usually like, all right, let's get going.
And if we're talking, it's always about like what we need to do, not like just ambient talking about life and stuff. And it's a pleasure to get to really like dig into each other's like heartstrings a little bit and pull on, just talk.
I think that's what I'm excited about this road trip. If we do this road trip in November, is that
bonds
we're
everybody.
Just have a blast. Just have laugh and fun and joke around, and who knows what's going to come of the trip.
Right.
And I think that Max Strong might come along with us.
I was just texting him like 2 seconds ago. Yeah, because I was doing some Instagram stories of this dope room over here, and he was saying how he can't wait to come out. I was like, dude,
Max was one of our first guests on the podcast.
Right? Yeah, I think he was on the second podcast.
Yeah, so he was our first guest.
Yes, he was our first guest.
Yeah. So we did one podcast with just the fam, and
I miss him, dude. It's been like he used to come here every Wednesday because he had the auction, and he doesn't think that they're even gonna come back at all
ever.
Yeah, so he's like, I just got to make a time and just come out there.
Yeah.
And that's what I said. I'm like, dude, like just send it, come hang out. You're free to hang out here. So yeah, but
it'll be good. And I can't wait to show him the new place, because when he did the first one, it was different. But
we were upstairs in the Reptarium when he did that.
Yeah,
we weren't even down here. Oh wait. No,
we were upstairs in the Reptarium.
Then he did twice then, because I think we did do one down here.
I think he did the first one downstairs, actually.
Yes. I think because we only did, 1 or 2 upstairs.
Right.
And I think they might have both been just the family.
We did 1 upstairs. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you might be right. I think we might have done the first 2 upstairs. Then we came downstairs.
And he was
Max
the first guest
here. The first guy here. And that was just to look around now, what a different world.
You guys have no idea. I mean, I never was a part of, I did construction and stuff, but it was more like demo work and all that. But it's crazy, man. Literally we're in a basement that was super cluttered and stuff everywhere. Yeah. And now it looks like a 2-bedroom studio apartment in NYC or something with a cave in it. You know?
With the cave. That's the thing. People are like, "Are you?" I was reading some comments from Noah and Bruce's,
Podcast,
Choices podcast, and then a couple people are like, "Are you in a cave?"
Yeah, dude, it really looks like it, especially like the background of the
Yeah.
cameras. It just literally looks like a cave wall.
Yeah. So now we've been saying that this is the pod cave.
Pod cave. Yep.
Pod
that's
cave.
it,
Yep.
dude.
The pod cave, and the lab is the
camera room. Yeah.
And just so you got what we'll do. I mean, you guys watch the vlog. I mean, some people watch the vlog anyway, so you guys understand. But it is this really interesting dichotomy, right? Where you've got
Good word
this,
for it, yeah.
like this clean, aesthetic white with gray highlight. Beautiful, pristine room, and you look through, and then it looks like you've just chiseled a quarry out of a cave.
Yeah, I've said that it's almost like the same feeling as being inside looking outside or being outside looking inside. Like it's that different. You know what I mean?
I think that for me, again, I keep talking about the fact that I think podcasting is a huge, I hope will be a huge part of my future.
I think it will be, yeah.
And I wanted to have something that was very unique.
Yeah.
Something that is like people, as soon as they see, it doesn't matter if they even see me, they see a guest with that backdrop, they're going to be like, oh, that's Brian's podcast.
Exactly. It's a brand, right? And I think a lot of people don't understand how important that is. It's a big part of everything we do. I mean, we're on social, so like, how do you stand out? You have to brand yourself.
Well, that's the thing. There's 100,000 podcasts, over 100,000 podcasts right now.
Right. And I mean, in the reptile sector alone, there's at least 10 to 15, if not more.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I never wanted to be a reptile podcast. Right. I said that from the beginning. I said
it's already convoluted.
Yeah, I'm not interested. Plus, I think it's a pretty narrow market as well.
Right.
And I want to be able to talk about everything from finance to science to cryptids to
anything,
to
just whatever's on your mind, right?
To everything, and because those are the things that interest me, and I want to have experts in the field of that world. Like like I said, we have this month we'll have a cryptozoologist on. In October we'll have a cryptozoologist that she's written a few books. I think 4 books on cryptids. So I'm anxious to hear all of her stories and also to like listen. I've always been interested in cryptozoology,
right?
Which for those people that don't know, that's just mythical creatures. You know what I mean?
Bigfoot,
Nessie, whatever the case may be. And some of these, are ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like you go, there's probably not.
But then there's some.
But yeah, there's some that have proven out to even be real.
Right.
In the last 20 years. So I'm real anxious, but I also want to find out, convince me of some of your crazy things. Like the Mothman prophecy. Is there really a Mothman?
Yeah.
I mean,
who knows?
Maybe. But tell me why.
Yeah, and make me believe it. Sell me.
Make me believe what you believe in. And then we also have, like I said, on the completely flip side, we will have a guy that won a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which is both have unique, wild perspectives on life.
Can you imagine this guy that spent 15 years in the league? The stories he's going to have about the people he played with, the travel, the adventure, the money that he made, the ridiculous inside stories. So I think that's interesting. And then I certainly will always have the through story of animals.
I think it's impossible not to. You've done it literally your entire life. Yeah. And almost half your stories are going to come back to something with reptiles.
Right,
know?
Even my travel and adventure and the experience
is all because of reptiles. Right, so it's like it's almost impossible for you to not talk about it, but it's like, why should we make it so that we're forced to make that our focus? Right, because it's hard. How long is it going to be before all we have to talk about is a Boronia species and like crazy, where it gets too nerdy almost for the normal person to listen to.
I hate to say it. I mean, there are a couple of reptile podcasts I think are pretty decent, but most of them I can't listen to.
Right, because
it's just it's real dry.
Unless you're talking about news, which there's not lots of news all the time.
No, not really. Yeah, and then who wants the drama of all that stuff?
Yeah, so what do you? Eventually, you're going to just be out of topics, and
we're talking about things that only 5 people are really interested in.
And
I want to talk about the classification,
taxonomy, and binomial nomenclature
of Porphyracia,
versus
Laticincta.
We literally can talk about anything. It's an empty slate, and it's really influenced by whoever's sitting around the table.
Speaking of influence, what do we got in Super Chats?
Super Chats, we got Roberta. She says, hey guys, Brian, I want you to know every morning when I wake up, I tell myself today is going to be awesome.
Good.
Regardless of what the day brings, it has helped tons, positive vibes.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And I think that, again, it's about attitude. And there's I woke up this morning and I tried to tell myself the same thing. I felt a little bit lightheaded, a little anxious, but I was like, I'm going to make this the best possible day I possibly can. And
that's the big part,
that's
right?
What you have to to do. You know, I mean, it's not easy. Listen, life isn't always easy, and it's not going to be easy all the time. But you got to take it with what it is and appreciate what it is. And I think attitude, again, will get you where you want to go. If you're always miserable, you're going to not really.
They say, well, you get what you put out. And it's not like, some crazy spooky thing. It's like literally like when you're negative all the time, people are going to act negative towards you because you're putting out bad energy in the room. You can tell, like, me and you are having a good time right now. If somebody came in really upset and sat down right there, it's changing the vibe.
I know, Lori.
Yeah.
She came in.
If she came right now, whole vibe's gone. Vibe's gone.
Yeah, goodbye.
Vibe killer, Lori Barczyk.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's exactly right. Is like somebody could change that vibe. So it's like, be the person that puts that positive dose into the room when you walk in, right?
Yeah. No, I think so. And it is weird with Lori too, because I always tell people, whether it's, I wish she would be on the not the podcast, but I wish she'd be on the vlog more.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
She has such an interesting dynamic. She's such the,
and she's so funny, dude.
Yeah, she's just, And then the podcast, she makes the podcast. Lori, or Noah and I told her that the other night, like, because she's like, I don't know about this podcasting, and I don't know if it's good for me, and this, she's not like sold on the whole thing. And I always tell her, like, you kind of make the podcast.
Yeah,
like, without you being there,
there's no dynamic.
Yeah, it's like me and Noah just like,
because you and Noah are like, very different in ways, but also very similar.
Yeah.
Lori's so contrasting to who you are that it's like a fun experience to watch, because you're kind of like, ticking at her, and then she's like, reacting to you.
Yeah.
And without that, like you said, it's just kind of just bullshit. There's no like give and take. What else we got, bro?
Man?
We got Angela, stoked for this podcast every Saturday now. You guys are awesome.
We love
thanks,
it.
Angela. And like I said, hopefully, obviously, we're chit-chatting, getting to know Jay, because you guys will, and you will not be the disembodied
voice anymore. We're getting a camera soon.
We'll have a camera here,
it's
probably
crazy.
hopefully by the next podcast. But I want people to understand that what we do here is a team, obviously, and obviously Anthony's now part of a team, he's a little part, but he's
he's been crushing. He's been helping us out so much, and Anthony, I can't appreciate you more, man.
Got you, boys.
But I think it's important for us to, I think it's cool to just kind of start this adventure with because you work hard in the back end, not just of the vlog, but even the podcast. I mean, we're at the podcast, you're in there working while we're just having a good time bullshitting. Right. So I wanted to let people know who you are and what you're about, and what the future is.
Yeah, and it's like, and not only that, like, I've literally been next to you for a lot of, like, I guess, like, the words like intimate moments. Like when your mom came for the first time, I was here for that. Like the 1 year anniversary of your reptile zoo, building the enclosure. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know if a lot of people understand, but like, we're watching this stuff happen around us together. And like, that shared experience is something that I wouldn't trade for anything. Literally, I was just watching, because I did the 2 year anniversary. I was watching stuff where we were making Ivy's enclosure.
I saw that too. Yeah,
it's like making me tear up right now, because it's like, it was wild that like now I go sit and I can sit in front of it, and there's water, and there's 2 anacondas in there, and we watched it get built.
I know. It was funny because I saw that clip that you put in there, and that the same thing with me. It was emotional. It was like, oh my gosh, that was like, I remember the feeling that I had when we started putting that together.
Like when we saw the glass. You remember when we walked in and we saw the 3 pieces of glass just like kind of clamped together?
Yeah.
And we're like, oh my God,
wow,
this is crazy.
So friggin' cool.
Yeah.
And now it's sitting in our front of our building. And I think of what's to come, the next adventure, the next expansion.
I can't imagine.
Obviously.
There's so much stuff in the works, already.
Yeah, we start to build the rest of the basement out as early as next weekend, I think.
Yeah.
And that, really from a I'm excited about the New Caledonia room. I think that's going to be really dope, because it's
and
going
the
to be
lounge,
but then the lounge is going to be really cool. The VIP area, the Kluber room would just be the Kluber room. It'll be great for the animals, but it's not. It's just going to be white.
It'll be cool that it's down here. Super easy to film some cool stuff, because we literally are right by the camera room. So that's cool.
So it's cool with that, but it's not like
there's not going to be a change that's this drastic, because it's going to just seem like it'll look like a prettier version of the basement.
Yeah, but then at the same time, we got the Sloth room getting built simultaneously. To
and then just the talks of, like you said, like future travel and future building stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a wild ride. And then with all of that, also I have to continue to keep in mind that I need my emotional status to be
perfect.
Good.
And not only that, but there's certain things that like you may want to do, but you have to realize might not make you happy.
Right.
And then you have to realize that even though you want to do it in your heart, you have to let some things go, and whatever that is.
Yeah, I think BHB is the perfect example of that. We've talked about BHB. I recently did the vlog about should I downsize, what should I do, and I was a little surprised at how many people were like, "Don't downsize, don't walk away from what got you where you are." And I think that with the problem,
which I don't get. Yeah,
number one, you should always be moving forward.
Right. I even said to you the other day, it would be like Amazon still selling just books. It's like they wouldn't be Amazon. You wouldn't be getting your deodorant shipped to your house overnight.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to always understand that, you can remember where you come from. But like, I think you said it. Yeah. That statement of don't give up or don't
forget where you came from.
Yeah, it comes from like your upbringing, not what you do for a living.
Yeah, like if you're not born with a silver spoon in your mouth, don't act like hoity-toity rich guy. Yeah. Remember that, like, be humbled about where you came from and appreciate that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But it's weird how it's like people can like move from I worked at Target to now I work at Amazon. Yeah. And that's an okay thing. But to change your business structure is like somehow like, oh, you've left behind
because you created it.
Yeah.
And it's
but yeah, the creation continues to move. The evolution always continues to move. Yeah. And I'll always do BHB, and I'll always have BHB.
And that's the thing that's weird, too. It's not like you weren't saying, like, hey, I'm going to get rid of everything BHB and just make Reptarium. You were saying, like, should I downsize, like, 30% of some things? You know?
Just because, and it wasn't, so, it's about my mental happiness more than it is about a business sense. Because you could make the business argument that it's smarter for me to keep BHB.
Right.
But I don't think that I would be as happy because of the stress level that if I keep it the way it is. Because I'm not keeping it the way it is because I have to move if I'm going to expand the Reptarium.
Yes.
So now if I have to expand to another building where I have to travel from one building to the next building, I have to manage a separate building, I have to have it more expenses.
Right.
All this other stuff.
Have people there that you trust that are there while you're not
when
there.
I'm not there. And just as, can you imagine if BHB's a mile away and we just, oh shoot, we don't have garbage bags. Now we have to drive a mile just to get now we just walk downstairs and grab garbage bags.
Right.
So these are all the things I don't think people understand when you're making decisions. And it's not always about finances. Yeah. It's not always about, you've got to look at everything. And I think what's best for me is not only what makes the best business sense, but also what makes the most personal sense.
And I think that's the most
where
important
I find
right
my inner peace. Because I love BHB and I love producing snakes. I'll always love that.
Literally.
But the Reptarium and what happens here, I always say, I don't say this lightly.
Yeah.
It is magical. Right now, as we sit right here, there are people, 8 feet above us that are having an experience that they would never have imagined they were going to have
and can't have almost anywhere else.
Yeah, right. And that is something that is so special. And
when you guys see it in person, it's a different thing than like us talking about on the vlog. Like a great example was that girl Bella that came in, her grandma.
I remember.
And this is something that like literally will affect me for the rest of my life.
Sure.
That she wouldn't even come in the building during their tour. She was like, I'm going to go down the street, go get a restaurant. That next day, I think she came. Because they came at night.
Yeah, they came 3 days in a row.
Yeah, she parked herself in a chair in the corner and sat there quietly. Didn't want to hold nothing. Next day, she sees Helen.
Yeah, the albino ball python.
And a lot of people love Helen. I think a lot of people sympathize with the fact that she has an impairment and stuff. And this lady like cried and like fell in love and held this animal, and then this year came back and held Ivy.
Held Ivy. She did.
Dude, she held a big anaconda. She wouldn't even come in the room. And that's what we do here. That's magical, and it's something that you have to see it in person. You know,
it really is. So that's why I think it's it's not that I diss BHB, and it's not that I don't. It's just that my heart, my passion, my enthusiasm for life really is evolving around what that magical thing is.
And I don't know, I don't think at all you should be anchored to a past self at all either. Right. Even if even if you wanted to completely move from everything, I would support it because listen, if it's what's making you happy right now, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And like I said, the one thing I will say going through what I've went through over the last 6 months is that, happiness and peace and tranquility trump all business decisions. Beyond belief. So, anyways, the point is that we have some expansion things in mind. And the way my mind works is that I'm not only I've already built that place out in my mind
30 times. Yeah.
And then I'm already thinking about what happens next. I mean, is there a 4.0?
You're not wrong. And like for you guys to know at home too is like straight up. I remember literally like we're putting enclosures into 2.0 and we started talking about 3.0.
Yeah.
Like, and listen, it's obviously there's, some part of it that like obviously just makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? To do. And I talk to Brian about this all the time as well, which is like with a zoo, it's like the bigger, the better almost in the sense that like, it's going to draw more people.
Not everything scales.
Right.
There's a lot of things that don't scale.
Like breeding.
Yeah, breeding reptiles doesn't scale like people think it scales.
Having 30,000 snakes doesn't mean you're making 30,000 more dollars exponentially.
Yeah, people will say like if I produce 10 clutches of ball pythons and I made 20 grand, if I produce 100, I'm going to make 200 grand. That's not how it works.
You're probably going to make 10 grand.
Yeah. you may gross more, but your net is going to be 10% higher than what you're going to do. 10 times the work, but you're going to make 10%
and
more
have 10
money.
times the stress.
Yeah. And so that's one of the things that people don't understand, that we've had that experience for so many years, and now we're taking all the experience and all the knowledge that we've gained over those years and trying to apply it to the future.
Right.
And although I listen, when I ask for someone's opinion, I want their opinion.
Right.
And it's not like I'm pooping their decision, like, oh, you guys are idiots. It's just that, we're trying to make the right decision for it.
And that's also hard. I mean, it's a 15-minute video.
Yeah.
There's so much that's involved in what this decision is that like, it's hard to kind of comprehend in the short time frame too.
There's something that's taking, a year to think about. Now I'm compressing it into a 15-minute, hey, what do you think? So I'm not really giving people the proper amount of knowledge that they have, to understand it. If I were to in a court of law, I was pleading my case, I think 99% of people would be like, "Oh, I get what Brian is saying. That makes complete sense."
Exactly.
But I'm just giving very bits and pieces, and people are like, "Oh, don't sell the." I get it. It's totally understandable.
And dude, we're still gonna be breeding stuff.
Yeah, we're still
tons of stuff.
Yeah, we're still breeding.
And
stuff,
you think about it, it's like, for those people that are like our 50 clutches of egg cutting and then dip out, it's like, now you get what you want too. You get the amount you like, and then you don't have to get overstimulated by it.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing we talk about all the time, and not just us, but you see other creators do it, where it's like, all right, cool. The first time you're holding a venomous snake barehanded, it's like, that's really crazy. Everyone needs to watch that, but eventually you're just doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah. We saw that with our, we talk about the trends, and like Anaconda was a trend. Like every time we put out an Anaconda video, it pop. And now people are just like, all right, I've seen every Anaconda video. I'm not that interested in it. So now you have to move on to the next
thing and try to find like, where's another thing that like people are going to be obsessed with for at least a minute, and it's not easy. Like there's things you would think would make like intrinsic sense.
Man, sometimes we put out a video and I'll watch the video and we'll title it and thumbnail it, and I'll be like, this is such a banger, man.
Nothing.
And then it does 20% less than the normal one.
Well,
so
even
really
like weird. Right now, like, we're obviously like in a bit of a downtrend and stuff. And it's
that
like
happens every September.
You have these ebbs and flows. And the thing that's funny is like, there's like probably 15 videos we put out in the last month that if we were to put out few months ago would have been milli bangers, dude. And we would have been crushing it. But because of the ecosystem right now, it's just, it'll hit 100K, and that's the thing. It's, I think when I first got here, I was a lot more nervous about that, in the sense of like, oh shit, like this doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Oh man, I'm
going back to Jersey.
Get out of here, Jay. It's your fault. No, I think, I agree. And I don't even, I was talking to Noah about this last night. I used to be pretty obsessed about stats.
That's where I'm at.
And I'm almost at a point where I don't even look at
I don't even look anymore because I know that come a couple months it's going to go up and then it'll go down.
It's going to go down. Things are going to go and all you need is one video that kind of takes off and it just changes the platform of the whole thing for a while. I don't think that I've actually looked at any substantial stats in the last probably 2 months.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's just so much. It just stresses you out.
Right.
You know
Well,
what
it's
I mean?
almost like looking at those COVID graphs, right?
Yeah,
You're just you're like waiting for the day to go down and then it goes up, or vice versa with us. It's like you're waiting like, oh, cool, we're going to have an uptrend. Nope, it went down. It's like, why even hurt your feelings when we're always going up?
And that's what I told Noah with his videos as well, is that, you know, he might see a decline before he sees an increase because he's changing the concept so much.
Yeah.
And I've already seen, like, his first couple videos, there were a lot of negative comments. Now almost all the comments are positive.
Right.
Because I think people are like, wait,
the people that really like
actually,
it are watching
this is really cool. And we're seeing even his numbers uptick, you know, where,
and he's doing great, dude. Great stuff.
And so I think you make the content what you love. But what do we have here? We have Stephanie.
Stephanie says, love you guys. Can't wait to visit.
I can't wait to be here right now.
Let roses burn.
Let roses burn.
Girl, we got your little doll right there. She says, loving this podcast. Good to actually see you, Jay. Good to see you.
I know. We're probably going to lose a lot of subscribers. It's
unfortunate, you know. You can't, and not everyone can handle this Jersey galoop over here.
I know. They're like, I thought Jay was good looking.
Yeah, no, you fucking thought wrong,
I was
dude.
so wrong, man.
Angela says, curious, will there be podcasts when you guys go on your road trip?
We were just talking about this literally before we came on. It's interesting. We thought about maybe doing like a live just with a cell phone.
Yeah, if you guys would be down for that, maybe we'll be in Yellowstone and hanging out, or in Vegas.
Definitely tell us in the comments and in the chat. Which, by the way, if you guys are in the chat or watching, hit that like button. Yeah, have you ever noticed how like the likes?
There's 561 people watching, but 265 liked it. It's like you're already here for 2 hours. You might as well just hit that like button, baby.
Like button, or
help us out,
or I'm going to block you.
Ooh,
no, that's not true. No, I won't block you.
No, but yeah, just give some love, you know.
No, yeah, get that 265 to at least 500.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fair. Or we're not leaving. We're not leaving.
We're just going to do this until that happens.
Until midnight.
Wait, no, it's going to be.
You gotta get the two. That's a good one.
Until we get to 500, we're just doing that. That's it.
Maggie says, do you remember when you did the black light on the reptiles? I wish you would do that again now that you have so many more species, and let's do it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we've thought about it again.
We were just talking about it, too.
Yeah, we're just talking about it.
We just got to find a better, like a cooler way to do it, or something drastically different. I don't want to make the same video we made last year.
Same video, and I don't know. It's weirdly with the black light, like some animals that you think, like rainbow boas, for instance, you would think would be unbelievable,
would be popping,
and like they are so disappointing.
It's almost like you're so right, dude. Like it's almost the opposite of what you think.
Right.
It's like the one that you thought would look cool looks bad, and the one you think would look bad looks cool.
Yeah,
I've noticed like albino pieds look really cool.
Yeah, albino pieds are cool.
Yeah, they're really neat. And like I think albino,
anything like the leucistics, albinos look good. But then you get into colored stuff. Like I was surprised, like Karma. We did Karma.
Nothing.
It was like garbage. You know.
Yeah.
It was like,
yeah. I wonder. I don't know for a fact, but do you know if the vinegaroon actually has that chemical that allows it? We should try that. That's cool.
Yeah, vinegaroon would be cool.
Maybe we got a couple mantis or something. Maybe even the millipede. You know. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the first thing is we should just run around with it and see if there's enough things to do that would be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the albino iguanas might look cool.
Iguanas.
Josh.
What's up, Joshy?
Absolutely go live while on the trip if possible. Jay, awesome to see you in front of the camera some more. I know it's weird being on this side of the windows.
I know, and it's nice that it's. I usually only let the talent on this side, you know.
But this time I'm taking over, bitch.
I don't like to. We've got a rule. Like Jay's not normally allowed.
I'm not even allowed in here, dude. As soon as I walk in, I have a shock collar. You can't see it right now.
Get out of there.
Skin color.
You get back in your lab.
Get back in your room, boy.
Get back in your room, and you stay there. We even put a lock on his room.
Yeah, they locked me out. They put the lock on the other way.
Yeah,
and it goes off by a phone, and they won't give me the code.
Yeah, I just say stay in there until 5.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from you. Just stay in there. But no, I think it is cool, and I like the fact that like Noah's using you and Ant in the videos a lot. It's
add some new dynamics and stuff like that. I'm not used to being on camera, so it takes me a little bit to get comfortable and stuff like that. But it's always fun. Noah cracks me up, and I like cracking him up because his laugh. So the funny thing is, like you, Lori, and Noah have very contagious laughs. Like laughs that like when people hear it, it's like they belt out laughing as well.
Especially Lori. Lori's has a cackle
like heavy,
that's
dude.
crazy. Yeah, she's got the craziest laughing.
Dude, it hits me so hard, and especially because like you don't hear it all the time.
Yeah, no. So when saves it.
Yeah, she saves it and unloads. Boom, 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 boom. Mac Turner says your videos inspire me to make my day better, especially with having severe anxiety and depression. And I ordered a pastel python Friday. Can't wait, boy.
Well, thanks, Mac. I appreciate it. And hang in there, man. I think I've
gone through it too.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy, but there is a road to recovery.
And let me tell you, it's so worth it to push through, man, because I've in the past, I've had suicidal thoughts and stuff like that. And it's crazy to me that I wish I could have went back and been like, just wait, bro. Yeah. Everything's going to work out. Just fucking wait. And it's like, if I can at least tell you guys that, just hold on, work at it, do as much as you can and Brian says this all the time and I love it. You got to go to the mental gym. You know what I mean? Gym, you got to actually do some workouts and train your brain to not be that way. Don't just let it take you over.
Yeah. You can't expect change when you aren't implementing change.
You're right.
So you listen, I'm always here for you. I will support every single person to try to battle. And I'm still in my battle.
Sure.
I'm not out of my battle by a long shot. I mean, I shouldn't say by a long shot. I'm getting closer to being out of my battle, but I've had some dips here and there.
For sure.
And it's not always easy, but I just keep pushing forward. And I know there's going to be days ahead that are going to be absolutely amazing. And there have been days in the past that have been amazing too. So we'll get there, and you just hang in there, Mac. I promise things are going to be okay. They really will. But yeah. So I don't know. So, God, we have so many. The conversations we have and the ideas that flow are pretty crazy. I mean, over time, it's. And we're talking. We do want to relaunch something with Animal Bites TV.
So that was one of the topics I wanted to talk to you about. I don't really know exactly what we're going to do yet. Yeah. Obviously, our plan was initially
we had a big plan. Yeah.
Was to link up with a bunch of different people and really crush some cool content.
Yeah.
Now the world's changed a little bit. Hopefully,
harder,
it'll be soon that we're back to some normalcy, and I think we will. Florida's
in Florida.
Florida's leading the way on that one right now.
Florida's you know what? Remember that C word? We don't know it anymore.
We're going back to the old C word.
Yeah, the old
the one that made your grandma upset.
Yeah, exactly.
But
no more Corona in Florida.
Yeah, and
they ban it. The governor actually banned Corona.
Yeah, it's over. You can't even get it now because they're not even testing.
You can't even get it in Florida.
And that's Trump logic, dude. The more tests,
more
tests, the more people.
In a weird way, that is true, right?
But it is.
It's just don't test anyone. And then
you wouldn't know about it.
If you really think about it,
it's so funny.
How many people get tested for the flu each year?
Not many.
Hardly any.
And guess what? Most people that get the flu just go to the doctor or not.
Yeah,
and they don't get tested.
I get the flu a lot, unfortunately.
And you just go home.
I just go home and sleep for a couple days.
Eat some soup?
Yeah, eat some
soup.
But
this is the first time, and dude, we've talked about this. I mean, we've talked ourselves blue in the face.
Yeah.
Every day, especially during lockdown in the moments, we've never tracked anything like this before. And that freaks me out because are we just going to do this from now on? Are we going to just track the flu every year? Because here's the thing, guys, is that
oh man, could you imagine if they start putting out flu numbers?
Dude, we're fucked.
If they start being all right, we're gonna now everyone get a flu test.
Yeah,
if you're feeling sick. But this is the problem, though. In a way, they might track the flu because when you start to feel sick, you're gonna think you got corona. You're gonna try to get a corona test, and maybe they'll say, "Well, it's not corona, but we're gonna test for flu." Yeah. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I just know that you can't catch it in Florida
right now. But I guess the point was we digressed a bit, but
yes,
I don't know exactly what we want to do right now, but I definitely know that it seems silly to me that we're wasting that channel.
Yeah, channel 800,000
subscribers, and I'm sure people would like to see other content from us that's not necessarily vlog stuff.
So to back up, we originally were talking with a handful of creators, not even creators, actually just personalities that all had a following on a platform,
right?
Not on YouTube though, but on a platform, say Instagram, that were very passionate and very had a lot. You could bring a lot to the table when it comes to production. So we were going to make almost this, again, going back to the roots of what Animal Bites were supposed to be, was make an Animal Planet-esque type of
network
thing.
on
YouTube. But this time, rather than having what we did with Animal Bites, I always said Animal Bites was a great idea with poorly executed.
I agree. 100%.
And what happened was, it wasn't that the people on Animal Bites were terrible. It's just they didn't have a tremendous amount of production quality
and knowledge
and knowledge. And so we were just basically saying, hey, could you make a weekly show?
And, well, the quality would like differ, right? Because your
some
videos would be maybe like real high quality, but then maybe this other one's almost like webcammy.
Right.
know?
Yeah. And so people were getting confused about like what it all meant and all that other stuff. So we wanted to kind of relaunch in that direction, but now produce like literally television shows.
Yeah. Like clone me 2 times for each person.
Yeah. Like literally have like TV shows with a shark guy.
Right.
TV shows with a guy that did lions, whatever the case may be. And we were really pretty far into.
That's why we started talking to Max in the first place.
Exactly. Yeah, Max Strong was one of the guys that was going to be on the docket, and he still may be if we
can work
do this again.
Out.
If life returns to normal soon. We had an investor that was going to put up a pretty considerable amount of money to pay for travel and expenses, and funding for the whole thing, and so that ultimately still is the goal to do again. Whether or not it happens, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of
variables.
A lot of variables that are still up in the air. But then the other thing we talked about was maybe just doing like for the short term, maybe doing some almost like, me reacting to some original Snake Bites videos and maybe breaking down even some other stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, like more like almost like just having more content of you. People, people obviously you want to do a daily vlog. You'd think people are like, hey, I got enough of Brian, but people want more always. So it's like, why not?
Crazy fuckers.
I know, you guys are fucking nuts. But
you guys are crazy.
But why not give that market what it's supposed to have? And it's like, and we can do it. I mean, now we have, the thing is though, all this is being said if you're happy doing it, and that like I don't want to put ever more of like stuff on your plate, unless you're wanting to do it, because I think there's an opportunity there, but just like other opportunities, it's just what makes sense for future.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to keep piling things on just to pile things on.
Right.
But
do it because it makes you happy.
Yeah, if it's something that. So we might be doing some experimenting with Animal Bites TV.
See what a good direction is to go for the meantime.
If it's something that has some value to add to the life, but I don't know. So if you guys have opinions, send them to us. You know,
I'm good. You send me on Instagram. I usually if I don't even get back to you right away, I'll definitely get back to you. And no matter what, I'm reading everything. So but I usually get back pretty quick as well. So just send me stuff on Instagram.
Yeah. And by the way, we had a lot of people. We had quite a few people that reached out about the podcasting
booking agent.
Yeah, booking agent.
So I have probably 7 people on my phone. We just haven't had the time to really sit down and talk. It's been a crazy couple of days, but I have like 6 or 7 people that I'm really interested in the sense that I think they can bring a lot to the table. The problem is like, I'm wondering, do we just go with one person, or do we like have a group of people around the country that are all helping make this podcast the best it can be? And that's where I think
that might work out. Yeah, and basically what it is just we just don't have enough time to go out and
reach out for people,
reach out to everybody, and hey, can you come in and schedule? It's like you need someone that can step in to schedule stuff, and because I'm so pro podcast. And maybe listen, guys, I don't know. You guys might be like, Brian, you suck, and this is
they're
the worst
definitely
podcast.
Not saying that.
But I have no idea. But I think that we can make a very interesting conversation podcast that'll be interesting. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I don't think you're wrong at all. And I think the thing is that it just has to be, again, like with Animal Bites, it has to just be executed properly. And the sense is that, we don't have to be scheduled to a certain day, but a certain time is probably smart. Like 5 o'clock, we usually go live.
5 o'clock goes live.
And then being smart about marketing it and plugging it at the right times, instead of just like, today we came down and, we plugged it maybe a few hours before. We should be doing that throughout the week. We should have like maybe 3 posts leading up to like, hey, don't forget this Friday. Hey, don't forget this Saturday. And to keep everyone in the loop, because obviously we have true diehard fans that that do anything you do, they're going to watch. But we want to get to the other people too, and
well, that's the thing about the podcast, right? Is like, in order to really, and that's why we've thought about this, been wondering Saturday for now, as being the big thing, is that, really, with checking in with the fam and choices, it's always going to be the people, like you said, that would follow us almost doing anything.
We literally can do laundry.
And we appreciate you beyond belief.
More than you
know.
Without
you, that hardcore group, we don't go anywhere. Without the 538 people I'm right now, we don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But to really grow this, we have to break out to millions of people in order to break out, and the way to do that is to put interesting
guests and topics.
Yeah, and topics on, and try to have interesting conversations with people.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like you said, yeah, the checking in, it's already family and friends. Like it's people that like love you guys. You know what I mean? Versus when you bring in a Steelers fan, it's like the person watching the podcast might not even know who you are.
Right, but
they know the Steelers guy. You know, like when I first started watching Joe Rogan, I mean, I knew who Joe Rogan was, but I didn't like Joe. Like I didn't know Joe Rogan. Like, oh, cool, he's so sick. You know. I learned to love him after watching him with like, I don't remember what the first one I watched, but I watched something I was interested in, maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson or something. And then I was like, oh, Joe's actually a fucking cool guy, you know? And I think that's what we need.
Yeah, he really changed the game, didn't he? I mean, like
he's been doing it for like longer than almost everybody.
Well, that's the thing, you know, that's what I don't think people realize. Like right now, everyone thinks of Joe as the gold standard, and he is.
He is.
But he did it for a long time.
Pretty under the radar.
Yeah, pretty under the radar. And like I mentioned, you know, I used to know the guy that was the booking agent for Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And that's what brought me to the point of saying, like, we need somebody that books for us because this guy booked for years.
And this is what's going to help work it out.
Yeah, and I know that's going to change, you know, what we do. And do we think we're going to get, you know, President Obama on? No, probably not.
But it's not impossible.
I guess is it President Obama still? I guess he's always
president.
Yes,
I think you're always president.
Okay, I am.
I mean, maybe
Barack
Obama.
Yeah,
but it's not impossiple though, you know. No. And that's the thing. And like I keep saying this, but like
if anyone knows Barack Obama,
holler at your boy.
Could you holler at Jay Tomsky
on Instagram? I appreciate it.
You got Michelle as yeah. She's sliding into your DM.
Yeah, dude.
Michelle.
Right. But dude, that's the thing is like, I mean. You know, they always say there's 6 degrees between you and any other person. Yeah. Between you and Kevin Bacon, right?
Yeah.
But with you, there's less than that.
Yeah,
for sure.
Most of the time, yeah.
I would say 99% of the time, there's probably 3 or less degrees between you and someone else, you know? Just the fact that, you know, you've met Howie Mandel, like that's probably
Howie's dope, man.
That's what I'm saying. I want to meet him really bad. He's always been cool.
When we go out, that's the other thing. We should have been in LA probably.
We were supposed to go like 12 times this year.
Yeah. We were going to be out there every 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Haven't went once. I'm sure next year we'll be out in LA a lot.
If it's still,
we'll definitely, if it's still there.
Everyone's leaving.
If anyone's there. But Howie is really amazing. I mean, let me tell the quick Howie story.
Of course.
So one of my managers went to school with his son, Alex Mandel.
Yeah.
And Alex is great, by the way. He's a YouTuber. He's does great TikTok stuff and so on like that as well. And so Alex wanted to do a video with us,
right?
And then he said, "Hey, would you mind helping us out with something we want to do with my dad?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yes.
So literally, we like hook up with Alex. And then we walk down the street from this. So they own like 3 or 4 houses, in different places. But one of the things they own is a 3-story apartment building that they have like all 3 floors are theirs.
That's so crazy.
So like the penthouse is
So
Alex's. The main floor is Howie when he's in LA because I think he lives out in like Santa Barbara or something like that. Or something like that half the time, and then he's out in Venice at some points and something like that. He's got several houses. And then the bottom floor, I can't remember I don't know what they do with that. Maybe they rent that out. But so we literally like walk down the street from this apartment, where they live, to this little sandwich place. And Howie is just like sitting there, him and his wife, who is super dope, by the way.
Yeah.
And they're just sitting there like nothing, just sitting there,
just hanging out.
We just walk in and it's like, so we sit down and we have the sandwich with Howie and
so crazy.
And just, shooting the shit. He had just got off the plane. He's like, I just got back. I did Good Morning America in New York this morning. And I'm like, this morning? You literally were in New York this morning? He's like, and then he's telling me, he's like, I do like, 200, comedy shows a year. So literally on top of doing
America's Got Talent, whatever else he's doing,
all the other, he's got 50 different things going on. He also did 200 plus comedy shows a year where he traveled around.
And that's
country.
out of like love for comedy.
Yeah, Howie does not need the money. This dude is.
That's out of like passion for that craft.
And so So we just sat down, chilled, ate some sandwiches, and then we went back to his place and played with the animals. I mean, literally,
crazy,
played with the animals. I put a tarantula on his head, and
which is wild. I wouldn't
wild,
think,
because you think he's like a germaphobe, but apparently it doesn't
do
apply
anything
to
for
animals.
Yeah.
Like he really loved that part.
Isn't that strange? Like that seems like almost like weirder to me because most people, I think, associate animals with being dirtier than humans most of the time.
No, he didn't have any problem with touching any animal I had, and he was super chill about it. And just like, I mean, the thing I like when I meet celebrities, and I've met a ton of celebrities, I love a celebrity that is cool off camera as they are on camera.
I agree.
And he was just a really, really cool guy. And Alex is great too. I mean, after we hung out with Howie for a couple hours, we went up and spent the rest of the day up in Alex's apartment, like playing games and like, you know, he has a ton of cool stuff. It was just really
Could you
cool.
imagine telling somebody that didn't know who you were that story? Like, they're like, what? Like, what do you do for a living that you met these people and did this shit? You know?
I always say that. It's really bizarre, you know, and obviously Howie's just one of not a gazillion, but a lot of celebrities that I've hung out with and know. And as a matter of fact, we were talking about Derek Roddy.
Yeah.
The
Serpent
today.
Rise.
Super fast drummer, maybe the fastest.
Yeah, one of two. George Colias and him pretty head in head with fastest feet in the world.
Fastest feet in the world. And I told Jay, I'm like, I know him. He's a friend of mine, right?
He's like, I got his number right on my phone.
I literally show you my
like,
number.
What?
You know,
dude?
And
that's the thing. So obviously, you know, you've had a pretty lengthy career in social media, but also in filming and stuff too.
Sure.
How did you get to meet all these people and build your network? Was it a slow process or through managers or what was the deal?
Some come through manager, like obviously Howie was with my one manager who same thing with David Dobrik. You know, he hooked me up with David and Liza. And that kind of opened up a lot of other channels because people would be like, "Oh, I saw you on so I'd have like the Dobrik or the Dolan twins, like they hit me up because they're like, "Hey, I saw you on David's vlogs. Can you help me out with something?" And so a lot of that happened where like the FaZe guys hit me up because I did stuff with a couple of their friends.
Right.
And so it was like kind of all that kind of networking type of thing. But it started, with, just a couple introductions. And then, obviously, now through Instagram, every now and then I don't check a lot of my requests.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll check a request and it'll be like from someone pretty big,
important.
and it was like 3 months ago.
You're like, oh, dropped the ball on that one.
As a matter of fact, even like World Star,
right. We actually, when Max Strong started coming around.
Max was doing stuff with World Star, and he was like, "Hey, by the way, World Star's been trying to get a hold of you."
For like a year and a half.
I'm like, what? I'm like, I check my DMs. I'm like, oh shit, man, I missed like all these messages from World Star,
So weird.
But
who do you think was the first person that you met that kind of made you realize like, oh shit, like I might have built a little something in my life here? Like, is there somebody that kind of set it all for you that you're like, wow, I can't even believe I'm able to stand with this person?
It was interesting. I think there's a lot of them really, you know, but I don't think there was one person that set it off. But I think that, like my buddy Burnsy, I think was like early on, Brent Burns from the now plays with the San Jose Sharks. That was like, I had met celebrities before that, but he was like my first friend celebrity.
Okay.
Where like we became
And
good
did you just
friends.
meet through Reptiles?
Yeah,
or?
so what happened was there was a guy up in Minnesota. He played for the Minnesota Wild at the time. He was like, I think in his second year in the league.
Yeah.
And he just would go to this guy's pet shop.
Weird.
Twin City
very
Reptiles.
Strange.
And Bruce, the guy that owned Twin City Reptiles, calls me up and he goes, "Hey, I'm friends with this." And I didn't even really know who Brent Burns was.
Right.
He just knew he played for the Minnesota Wild. He's an NHLer. He's like, "Yeah, he really wants to come and hang out at your place." And I'm like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." And so it was wild. Like Burnsy flew in with Bruce. They both flew in. And they were literally like, they got here in the morning and they were staying like that whole day, spent the night, which is I love this story because literally like, they stay that night, and then they were going to be flying out the next night at like 4 a.m, right? So literally, we get them, they come, we hang out all day at the shop, having a good time, so on like that, feeding snakes, doing all kinds of crazy stuff, really cool. Literally, it's like, "Hey, dude, do you want me to get you a hotel or something like that?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "No," he goes, "Do you have like a couch I could crash on?"
No way.
And I'm
dude.
like, "Well, yeah, I got a spare couch." And he's like, "Cool, dude, that's it. I'm good." So literally, I like take him home.
An NHL player, right? Is that wild?
Yeah, him and Bruce both sleep. I have a sectional couch.
Yeah.
They both sleep on like toes touching each other.
Hell yeah.
He hangs out. They hang out then, and then the next day we hung out the shop all day again, and then literally stayed up till like 4 a.m. at the shop before I drove them to the airport.
Isn't that cool, man? And you guys have a lifelong friendship now.
Yeah. So ever since then we've been like super dope.
And how long ago was that?
That's got got to be almost like 18 years ago.
I was going to say, because you've known him most of Noah's life. Like, Noah remembers him forever.
Yeah, Noah was a kid, you know, and so, and he's just a super good dude, man. He's just a great guy and someone I love dearly, you know. I mean, you know, whether he was a hockey player or not, I would love him to death because he's just a sincerely great dude.
I can't wait to meet him. I haven't got to meet him yet, and that's somebody I'm definitely interested in, just because you guys speak so highly of him.
You'll love him. He's the biggest dork in the world. I mean, he's like, you know, he's this. It's so funny because you watch him on the ice and he's so vicious, man.
Right,
I mean, he's just vicious, man. But he also gets like voted like the cleanest player of the year type award, you know, even though he's like punching people in the back of the head,
but it's all
like,
legal.
But I think he's just like, people know that he's he's like
person.
a good dude. Plus he does so much for charity and stuff like that. But like you see this like vicious like guy with no teeth, you know, like fighting. And then you meet him off the ice, and the dude's like the nicest fucking guy on the planet. So crazy. You know what I mean? Like you would like. I mean, he's the type of guy that would do anything for anybody.
Yeah.
You know. So
no, even like Noah was saying how he used to like send him skates and like hockey sticks and stuff.
Oh yeah,
and, like
dude,
that's fucking cool, man. When you're growing up playing hockey and your dad's friend's a professional hockey player, like what's more inspiring than that? And that's the thing that like you've not only carved a path, because listen. I straight up, like I said in the beginning, but like I am so crazy grateful that I get the chance to be here. And it's not just because, you know, I get to work around cool animals or I do what I love for a living, but like, you know, I really respect you as a person and I look up to you. And the amount of like creativity and drive, and I mean, you've built your life, you built your dream legitimately. And I don't know, I didn't have anybody like that in my world. And I played music for a long time, and I always thought it was very important to surround yourself with people that are better than you.
Yeah.
You know, and
I agree.
You know, I always said like I want to be the dumbest person.
Yeah, you don't want to be
smart room.
Never want to be the smartest person in the room.
No, there's nowhere to go.
It's the worst thing you could do.
Yeah. So now it's like not only am I surrounded by you and Lori, who are incredibly intelligent and well thought out people who have built their dreams, but I mean, almost every person I meet through you is living their dream to some extent.
Yeah.
They're either working with snakes or they love snakes and they're trying to start a business with it. And it's inspiring as fuck to be able to see that.
I was just talking to Elise, the pyro chick. And that's what she was saying, you know, like, you know, she you know, is doing what she loves, and we both, that's I think why we hit it off so quickly, is that we both are following this bizarre path in life. You know, I'm working with animals and now podcasting and doing vlogging and social media and living my dream, and she's blowing shit up. and it's fucking, how awesome is that?
It's crazy. And that literally, I think every person I've met through you, from, you know, Scott Smith to everyone I've met, the Sutherlands, whatever, they've all built a life for themselves. And 99% of people don't. And that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you want to live and have a very simple life, that's totally fine.
We lost our TVs.
Nope, something's
okay.
Good. Okay,
we got a glitch.
Yeah,
like, oh no, we're off air.
But yeah, so you know,
no, I think it's important.
Most people just do what they're supposed to do. They go to college.
Well, this is what I had talked about, and this isn't degrading one person.
Not at all.
Anyone that's listening, please don't think that I'm judging in any way. I just said that this is what I told Elise. Is I said that I think at some point in life, people lose that childish wonder that they have, that curiosity that they have. And being 51 years old, I've always wanted to keep that. I've always wanted to look at life through little Brian's eyes.
Yeah. And you do, though, like seriously. I mean, that's all you talk about. Yeah, it's like, this is the place I wish I went when I was a kid.
Yeah. And everything I do is like, you know, I think of like that. I think when I look at upstairs in the reptarium and I see kids walking around having that experience, I want to be that kid.
Yeah.
I want to be 100%. That kid, you know?
Like you wish Belle Isle, when you went there as a kid, that they were taking the snakes out, putting them on your neck, and you would have been flipping out.
Right.
You know?
I wish there was a place. And that's the continued dream, you know, from the Reptarium and Beyond, which, by the way, is one of my favorite shirts.
I agree.
Made me the Reptarium Beyond Buzz Lightyear shirt. It's one of my favorite shirts. So whoever made that, shout out.
We appreciate you.
But I think, you know, to continue to follow your dreams is what it's all about. And making, this is the thing. When people say, like, where do you think you're going to be 5 years from now? I have no clue.
Me either.
Because I think I'm going to be somewhere 5 years from now that I didn't even think about right now.
Right.
You know,
because
I think
to think about
opportunities will come up and things will go on. Not to cut you off, but
no.
I said, if I would have said 10 years ago where I think I'd want to be, it'd be right where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Right.
That's where I want to be.
Isn't that crazy?
But where am I going to be 5 years from now? I think that I'm going to be in a place that I didn't even dream of right now.
And I agree with you. I think the thing is, though, is like, even though like you're like, yeah, this is where I want to be in 10 years, like, did you ever feel like it was like even possible? Like, because at the time it probably wasn't.
I think 5 years ago, I never thought I would have a reptarium.
It's just like, it really, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you guys are reptile fans out there. I'm sure you've been to reptile zoos. They're not like highly trafficked places usually. Right, you know, they're usually like in the middle of nowhere, Poconos, Pennsylvania. And, you know, there's one employee and it's dead. And this is different. This is a reptile club almost. You know what I mean?
It's an experience. It's we're selling experiences. Is what we sell. That's when people say, like, "What do you sell here?" I'm like, "We sell experiences."
Yeah, you know? Not crickets, unfortunately, or
no
light bulbs.
Or light bulbs. I'm sorry.
Let's
get a couple super chats before we move on.
Yeah, sure. Monsters in the Camera says, "Love the new pod cave. Nice. Alaska is awesome as well. I lived there for 3 years in the Army. Nice. You guys are an inspiration. Just started an adventure channel with my kids. Check it out."
Oh my God, that's awesome. Good job, man. We seriously will check that out. I'm assuming it's Monsters in the Camera.
Yeah.
So
it's a good name too.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Susan threw $2 just for some love. We appreciate you. Let Roses Burn said an Instagram live would be awesome, especially Yellowstone. You'll love it. Photographer's Paradise. I know.
So I think that we will probably do some Instagram lives,
regardless,
barring if we do a live chat or a live podcast or not.
But it's very possible that like we could
we might do a podcast, just with
literally set up maybe we'll have to figure out some semantic, like maybe we even like I'm trying to figure out there's a way that we can have something almost like a mic or something that we can at least have less shitty audio quality.
Yeah,
the video's gonna look dope.
Outside, especially if you're outside. You know,
there's got to be a way, and I'll do some research on that and try to figure it out. But there's got to be.
We could always be. So we're gonna be renting an RV. It's not. I'm not gonna. So originally I was thinking I was gonna rent this huge like A-class.
Yeah.
I think that is a bad idea because number one, I've never driven something like that. It's gonna be hard to park. It's gonna cost $4. 4 gallons per mile.
Which is not
drive
good.
Like 5,000 miles. I think now we're going to do something still an RV, but a smaller RV. So we might just be able to set up a live cast from there. Sure. Who knows? I mean, I think we will. I think that we've got a lot on our plate, but we will try to podcast.
Yeah, I will definitely try. We'll try to do it in a way that's like not overbearing to any of us or like super disappointing. Like I wanted something that it's foolproof. We're going to do it. If we want to do it, then we're doing it. I don't want it to be like, we want to do it and then we set it up and then it doesn't work because that just sucks, you know?
And there might even be a thing where like maybe we find a place, if like, let's say it just so happens in Vegas.
That's a great idea.
You know, we find a podcast area in Vegas that they'll allow us to podcast.
And they do that stuff.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
So that might be an option too, is just to podcast where there is a podcast.
Yeah, because I would love to like, you know, because obviously there's going to be tons of stories that we won't necessarily tell on the vlog or something, but we would love to tell while we still have that vigor about it, right? You know?
So we'll try to do that, definitely.
For sure. Design Course says, fellow YouTuber here, I have a berm and a ball python of similar size. Berm is older, or ball is older. Is it okay to get them out together and let them be near each other, or just don't do it at all?
Yeah, I think most of the time it's not a problem, to be totally honest with you. I mean, there's always going to be risk when you're mixing interspecies because of pathogens and so on like that.
Yeah.
But I think the risk is pretty minimal. And I think that as a pet type of thing, most pet people will it's like, do I put my dog and cat in the same room?
Right.
It's kind of like that type of thing. If you're smart, then probably you're okay. You know, I mean,
like I've this is way before I was ever here, but I had my boa and ball pythons out, like just to take pictures and stuff. But I've had them together. I mean, you've seen Jackass and stuff. They have tons of animals together or Wild Boys or something.
Yeah, Wild Boys, Reptile, Clyde peelings. I don't know that's what you were talking about because that's not in the Poconos.
No.
But I love Clyde.
It might be. Who knows? It might have been on the way there. It might have been something I see. But is that a nice place though?
It is a nice place. It's actually it's one of the older reptile zoos in the country. Clyde peeling is one. It's also AZA.
Interesting.
Zoo.
Okay.
I love it there. I've been there a bunch of times. The people there are really great. Clyde's is still there. He's still there all the time. But he's kind of retired, but he's there almost every day. His son runs the place, and he's super cool. We've hung out quite a bit. They've showed us around. They've taken us back and messed with the Komodos with us.
That's cool. They have Komodos there. I guess
Komodo, They have they actually built a Komodo exhibit that is ridiculous. I'm talking like it's like the size of the Reptarium just for the Komodos.
I think you've talked to me about this specific place because we were talking.
They did a fundraiser that like raised like $250,000 for the Komodo exhibit. So it's a badass Komodo exhibit, and it's just I mean he was a pioneer. As a matter of fact, I have his book upstairs.
Really?
Yeah, the Clyde Peeling book, like the dream of him building the zoo.
I got to see that. That's actually really cool. You have a lot of cool books up there.
Yeah,
by the way.
But it's I love that place. Again, not hands on though. That's the downside.
Right.
As much as it's cool, I love looking at the stuff, the exhibits. They build exhibits, by the way.
Yeah. They build them there, or
they build for other zoos even.
Wow.
They have a building that they've taken me to their building. It's right on the same property that they build this type of thing.
But foam or
no,
concrete?
it's actually fiberglass.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like Bella's cage would be like $80,000.
Oh, for sure. That's the weird thing with Universal Rock, right? Because it is very expensive to work with a sheet of Universal Rock, but it's also cheaper when you're building the enclosure.
Yeah. So it's expensive for the hobbyists. It's very cheap for a zoo.
Right.
So a zoo will spend $100,000 on an exhibit that we paid $10,000 for,
which is wild. Yeah, and we've talked about that even at Sequest. You know what I mean? It's like because a lot of their stuff they probably paid.
Oh, they paid
crazy money.
When I talked to them about Sequest had reached out and said that they would be willing to help us with the Stingray thing, and so I said So I got on the phone with their builders and all this other stuff. They quoted me $120,000 for the Stingray.
That's crazy. It's crazy.
Just for the Stingray tank, $120,000.
And how much do you think it'll realistically cost?
I think it'll cost $100,000 to do all three of them.
Right, and you're paying less for three.
$30,000 to $35,000 per exhibit, I think, is what it'll cost me.
Yeah, which is crazy to think that like there's so many zoos and stuff out there putting all this money.
I just talked to that place out in Boston. Same
literally
thing.
They were like, freaking
They're like,
out.
I mean, we want to go with Universal Rock, but we're concerned because they're so cheap.
And it's like, what a good problem to have, right? But now you have to sell them on like no, this is the reason.
Why is it so cheap? And I told Stuart that. I said, I think if you would have quoted them twice the price, they would have went with you
immediately.
Yeah,
and isn't that weird?
Because you're they said they were a third the price of everyone else's quote.
Weird.
A third the price.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what's the rub?
What's going to get me?
What's going on?
And it's crazy. Yeah, no, for sure.
That was just
that's that one.
Feeling. Yeah. So
cool.
But that's a cool zoo. I mean, I think I'm trying to think. So reptile zoo wise, we will be we hopefully. If this trip happens, we'll be going to Reptile Gardens.
Yeah.
I really am excited to see what Reptile Gardens is about in Rapid City, South Dakota.
Okay.
Because it's been around for a long time. They are AZA.
Have you seen like pictures and videos of it?
I've seen some stuff.
Does it look cool?
It's pretty incredible. They have some amazing. I'm talking like crazy amazing animals.
Oh, dude!
Like they have parentes. They have parente monitors. They have tons of crocodilians that like most zoos wouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Terry Phillips is one of the guys there. That's the guy that we'll be in
contact with.
And I mean, he has just crazy stuff. I mean, just absolutely crazy stuff. Roughy pythons. I mean, all kinds of stuff. But
you can't see anywhere else.
So I haven't been there, but I've been to most other reptiles, from Reptile up in Canada to.
That's another one I hear about a lot too.
I love Reptile. I think it's a really dope place, man.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool place.
So far, the craziest place I've been with you outside of our place is what was it? Dallas World Aquarium, was it called?
Oh well, that place is fucking nuts. Man.
I'm itching to start building 3.0 just to go back to that damn zoo, bro. That shit was crazy.
If anyone's in the Dallas area, definitely go check out the Dallas.
You'll be there every day. I mean,
it's incredible. And again, I use him as an example of what my thought process is with the Reptarium, because he started out with it's not a small building, but an industrial building,
a restaurant.
And he's built and built and built and built, and just kept going up floor after floor after floor.
And now he owns imagine we're at whatever city you're in. Imagine like a high rise building. That's a friggin' zoo. and it's crazy. It's got natural daylight coming in.
Yeah,
it's
got a huge cenote with sharks in it.
It's got a waterfall that like is about what, probably 60 foot high.
60 foot high.
Falls down, and like this is supposed to act as like the Amazon River.
Yeah.
As it flows through, you get closer and closer to the ocean. The exhibits get bigger and more deep and deeper ocean critters. So it was wild, and it's an inspiration.
And that's the thing, like inspiration, exactly what I'm saying. That place inspires me to do what I want to do here at the Reptarium, to continue to grow. I mean, listen, the real dream of mine, if I wanted to be honest, and I really probably have never said this publicly, and Lori would lose her fucking mind.
That's why we're doing this podcast, just me and you.
Is I really would love to I want to keep the Reptarium forever.
Yeah.
This is my place. This is
homestead.
This is where I always would love. But my dream would be to one day open up a massive aquarium and reptile zoo in the city of Detroit.
Yeah, and
downtown Detroit.
We literally, dude, I remember getting in the car after Dallas World Aquarium, and we literally started talking about that.
Yeah, I reached out to my investor, you know, because I had talked with an investment company that owns a big part of Detroit, and they wanted to do something like this with me. And I don't even know where it happened. We had several meetings. It all looked good. And then it just kind of fell apart. And then Corona happened, and we just stopped talking about it. But we're talking about a $20, $30 million type of.
Dude, we got to talk to Little Caesars. What are we doing?
Yeah, right.
They own a lot of stuff, and it's not impossible. One of their head dudes loves reptiles, so. Yeah. It's not an impossible route to travel, for sure.
Yeah. We know,
but that's for another podcast as well.
That's for another podcast. But that's the dream, right? The dream is to eventually have this
extensive,
because if you think about a lot of cities, Chicago has the Shed, the Boston Aquarium. You've got Atlanta. You've got Kentucky. You've got Columbus Aquarium and Zoo. Detroit doesn't have that. We don't have an aquarium.
We don't have anything like that. Yeah,
we have the Detroit Zoo, which isn't even in the city. It's in
which is beautiful.
It's a decent zoo. It's an okay zoo.
Yeah.
I like it. I mean,
we went winter, so obviously that's a little different. We went to see the lights. Remember?
Oh yeah,
which was so
lights.
sick.
Yeah, it was cool.
Little cousin Trevelyo. Yeah, he was crushing
awesome.
it.
Yeah,
but
was good stuff.
But I haven't seen it in like its glory. I guess
I like it. It's a decent zoo.
Big.
Is it a great zoo? Probably not, but it's a good zoo.
And dude, I'm totally down with I don't need like a huge zoo with 1 million animals. Right. I like the experience better. Again, that one in Texas, it was like if it didn't even feel like you were in the city. It felt like you were in the Amazon and walking around. It was wild. And that's the thing that that I love about here too, is you just get lost in these enclosures. Right. You know what I mean? So it's something that, like you said, if it fits into the life plan that makes happiness, let's do it. If not,
and I don't know if right now, I don't know that I would want to tackle a project of that big, that magnitude, but down the road, maybe something, I don't know. Right now, I want to focus on the Reptarium, focus on 3.0.
Oh, for sure. Me and you get together, we talk about things that could happen 37 years from now.
Yeah, you never know. It's just, I guess what it is, if you're not continuing to dream big, what's the reason,
Yeah, and it's funny. There'll be times where we're trying to come up with ideas for videos or whatever, and I'll walk around and just write things down on my phone.
Yeah.
And I always tell you, I'm like, yo, listen, I'm gonna give you 30 ideas right now. If you like them, write them down. If not, don't say anything. It's just ideas. I know some of them aren't great.
Asshole.
Yeah. Fucking dumb fucking idea.
Yeah, those 30 ideas, 29 and a half sucked.
Yeah, and the other one I'm giving to you just because I like you a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna humor you.
But that's what's important though, is you should have 29 bad ideas. Yeah. But as long as one of those is good, it's important to say all of them. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. Yeah, I agree. So it's hard to say. But what's Mike is in the house.
He asks, when's my Duck Dynasty casting? LMAO. How is everyone today? I really appreciate that. I think just because I have a beard, he's thinking I'm in Duck Dynasty.
Yeah. Sai, you could be like Sai.
I haven't seen the show. I've heard it's really good.
It's interesting. So Duck Dynasty was I'm always curious about how these things start, right?
Yeah.
So Duck Dynasty, obviously the family owns Duck Commander,
which
is a duck call /
some weird duck call,
yeah, right. And so they actually had a YouTube channel years ago called Duck Commander.
Okay,
and then now NBC Sports or whatever network it used to be called Versus. Before that was called OLN.
Yeah.
Outdoor Living Network.
Yeah.
And so Duck Commander actually had a show one season on OLN called Duck Commander.
Yeah,
and it was really a hunting show. It was like a little bit of antics, but mainly,
mostly
mostly them hunting.
Yeah, bare bones hunting.
And so because they had a pretty successful YouTube channel, and then after that they got canceled after season 1. After that, they started trying to pitch Duck Dynasty.
Right.
And so ultimately, a company called Gurney Productions picked it up, and they shopped it to a bunch of networks. No one seemed to be interested for a while. Then finally, A&E bought
Duck
Dynasty.
Yeah.
And sat on it for an entire year.
Wow, really?
It started out that they were supposed to be a rich family, like they were, owning Duck Dynasty or Duck Commander. And then they decided they wanted to live in trailers.
So weird.
And so they were going to be like, no, now they're a poor family that just hunt, and they live in trailers.
Weird.
And then by the time it went to the pilot, a year later, they went back to, all right, they're rich family again.
Yeah,
living
very
whatever.
strange.
And so my point is that this lived in the ether for 2 or 3 years
before it came to fruition.
And then it was the #1 highest rated show on cable for over 18 months.
Which is crazy to think about. And that how all these other companies that got pitched this idea probably feel so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, and I always say that TV execs are and if anyone's listening, I'm sorry, and I don't care.
Play safe.
Whatever.
Right?
They play it safe. Yeah. They don't want to take risks.
They almost want to take a formula, and it's same with pop music and stuff like that too. Take a formula and just input a different person, right? Yeah. It's like, hey, well, Pawn Stars worked, so let's just change up. Instead of it being a pawn shop, they're going to houses and looking for stuff.
You know that Pawn Stars, interestingly enough, was a offshoot of Antique Roadshow.
Yes.
Did you ever see Antique Roadshow?
Yes, yeah.
So what happened was History Channel wanted to do an Antique Roadshow, but they wanted to have a different spin on it, and that's how Pawn Stars got signed.
Very interesting.
And now it's 20-something seasons in, and
they're a huge show,
still doing good.
And you would see, and like what you're saying is like other companies are going to look at that as like a model versus like, hey, let's try something new.
Right. Well, that's why, when you see a survival show that does well on History, Discovery comes out with one, and A&E comes out with one, and
it's why you haven't seen animal shows that much on the big networks because they haven't done well.
Yeah.
So
the Brave Wilderness one recently really affected the future of animal shows a lot, because it was such a fail.
Which is crazy because he's crushing it on YouTube.
He's crushing on YouTube. It was a really well produced show.
Yeah.
The problem was, and this is with one of my TV meetings here recently, was what they said, and I couldn't agree more, is that you can't do the Brian Barczyk vlog on TV and expect it to be successful.
No.
If you're going to do a show, it's got to be radically different than what you do on YouTube, because if not, everyone's just going to watch it on YouTube.
Exactly.
And I think that's what happened with Brave Wilderness is people are like, well, why would I want to watch Animal Planet when I could just watch you on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm already on YouTube. I have to now go to my TV, turn it on at a certain time.
People don't like TV. Most people don't have cable. People don't do things like that. So like it's not, it's not the same demographic.
And we talk about that all the time, how like every platform, it's like its own thing. Like you don't take YouTube videos and make TikToks with them. You have to make a TikTok video. You got how much money you got on there, dude? While you're doing that, I'm going to read the super chat.
Okay.
Jake Lewis says, have you considered looking into having a section that's like BHB but a pet store alongside the Reptarium for people to buy and take pets home that day? And I think
my answer would be absolutely not.
Yeah, I know that for sure.
I'm not saying, Jake, that you're stupid for making that thing. It's a completely reasonable
idea.
As a matter of fact, Reptilia has a pet store. And Jay from Prehistoric Pets has a pet shop. I personally have no interest in that at all.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, I don't want a pet shop. I don't want to sell animals. I don't want to sell crickets. I don't want to sell rodents. I don't want to sell supplies.
Yeah.
I just have no interest. Again, I go back to that we have a gift shop that we sell stuffies and all that stuff, and we sell experiences, and that's the way I want to keep it. I want to stay in my lane.
Yeah,
because my lane is.
I also think that like it's very difficult to have a pet shop. Like, I mean, like the amount of overhead with like random products that have to sit on the shelves for 4 years?
Not only products, but you also are buying in animals. You got to remember at the Reptarium now, we're pretty strict about what we bring in our quarantine policies because we don't want, heaven forbid, we don't want nidovirus to come in and wipe out every snake we have, or the sunshine virus, or whatever the case may be. when you got a pet shop attached, now you're bringing animals in because you have to buy and sell.
Right.
And because even if you say, well, yeah, you can produce enough BHB, we don't produce enough animals in the ilk of a pet shop. People want to buy bearded dragons and they want to buy,
some stuff you're not breeding. You're going to have to bring it
buy
in.
and sell. And I just can't bring myself to bring that into the same building as animals that I literally value I've told people, Elvis is a perfect example. Like, if you put a price tag on Elvis, a 4-year-old monitor lizard is worth maybe $2,500 to $3,500. I am not kidding you. If someone came in with $1 million check,
give it up.
I wouldn't sell it.
Listen, I don't have that type of money, and I wouldn't give him up.
Nope, I'd be like, nope, not interested.
He's like my best friend.
I seriously, and I'm not saying that. I
promise we're for real.
I promise you. If someone wanted to buy Bella. Someone said this at one point.
I remember.
They said, how much would you sell me Bella? I said, I promise you.
You don't
have enough money.
Yeah.
I promise you. I don't want to
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
And you don't have enough money.
I don't want to insult you. You could be worth $100 million. You still don't have enough money to buy that
There's something
animal.
so different about like when you build this bond with an animal, like, we see Bella. I mean, literally today, right? You were on a tour, but the tour was like still back by the Gators, and you walked over to Bella. She like looked at you, stood up, and she walked right over to you.
Right over to me.
And she doesn't do that to me.
No.
If she's over by me, if she's over by the front, she'll like hang out and I'll pet her, but she does not come over to me.
Right.
And dude, how many times I come in, I see Elvis, he comes out and he comes hanging out. We used to joke about it all the time how much he would just like love to just run over to me for some reason.
Yeah, he does love you. He always does. Yeah.
I love him, man. It's like he's like a fucking dog, dude.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't.
And I think that's the
family
point, right?
member.
Is like if you had a family dog, what would you sell it for?
Yeah, it's like, dude, you're
like,
crazy.
Yeah, there's no money.
That's your brother, though. Yeah, and that's the thing is like your dog feels like your brother or sister or cousin or something, but like. That's how these animals feel. Just because they don't have fur doesn't mean to us they don't feel like that, you know?
I agree with you. And that's, so anyway, again, not a terrible idea. For some people, it'd be a great idea. For me personally, not interested in a pet shop at all.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Jackie says, hi, Brian and Jay. Love the vlog and podcast. Thank you. Been watching for almost 2 years now, and Brian got me over my fear of snakes. Now I own 2.
That's awesome,
Another
Jackie.
one bites the dust.
That's it, Jackie.
That's it. You're back in there.
I won't stop until we're done.
Dude,
no, thank you so much,
people
Jackie,
said you should run for president.
Oh, my gosh.
With your platform being a snake in every household in America.
No.
You probably win.
No, it's Make America Snake Again.
Oh, I like that.
Make America
That's really
Snake
good.
Again. Yeah.
We were going to do you remember when we were going to do the thing with Toothless?
Oh, we fucked that one up, didn't we?
Yeah, but the election's right now. We could do it right now.
Yeah. I think Toothless could win the election.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think it's a given.
From a cognitive standpoint, he's probably the better
of the
choice
three.
Of the three.
Yeah, I'll vote for a dinosaur brain.
Yeah, could you imagine the debates?
So, did you see that Joe Rogan's supposed to mediate the 4th debate?
Is he really?
Yeah. So, all right. So, I just seen this the other day. So, I don't know how true all this is. So, fact check me, please. But I seen that
fucking liar.
Biden opted in, and Joe Rogan's into it, and Donald Trump's into it. So that's all I know so far. But there's a very good possibility.
We have 450 likes. I said 500 likes.
Or we're not getting out of here.
Yeah,
so
we're not.
We're
going to
hear
keep
this
going.
Jersey accent for a long way time.
We're going to keep going till
until 500.
If Joe Rogan could do a 5-hour podcast. We can do a 10 one.
Oh, dude, I've been saying we should do a 24-hour challenge podcast.
Oh.
It doesn't have to be. What I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be like.
Have you ever heard of the telethon? What the heck is his name?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh, the old comedian that did the muscular dystrophy.
I have
oh my gosh, we got to put.
Can you pull that up? How do we even look that up?
Muscular dystrophy.
Yeah, he's gonna spell that. He can spell petrified. He's gonna get through. He's gonna get through dystrophy, dude.
Oh my gosh! So there was a guy. I cannot believe I just blanked. This is like back in. I think he was like like this Sammy Davis era and stuff like that. Like the Rat Pack type of thing. He's like Game of Thrones. What are you typing
Game
up?
Show. We're getting there.
Game show. What do you talk about game show for?
Because it was a game show, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't a game show.
That's what I'm saying.
It was a telethon.
Jerry Lewis. There you go.
Jerry Lewis telethon. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your help.
I appreciate
there.
you,
you guys.
But he did this every year on. There it is. He did this every year. I think on Labor Day.
Okay.
And he did a 24-hour telethon.
That's
to raise money for muscular dystrophy.
I think I've actually seen this before.
And this is amazing. I mean, he did it for like how many years? Can you put out how many years did this go on? Jerry Lewis telethon. How many years?
Yeah. Just type in how many years, you're good. But so that's crazy. So now would it be like just him? So
no, he would do. He raised $561 million, 21 and a half hours. Did it from 1966 to 2010.
That's crazy.
I know,
it's absolutely
right?
crazy.
And this was like they would have like all the telephone banks, but celebrities would be like answering the phones.
Weird.
Like Whoopi Goldberg was on there.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Dude, that's so good.
It's not that far off.
Yeah, yeah, you're really not wrong. She's got Wookiee-ass tendencies.
Yeah, she's awesome. I like Whoopi.
But yeah, I think like it doesn't even have to be like, all right, we all sit here for 24 hours, but like we could keep like say like me, Noah go in for a little bit, then like you and Noah, then Lori comes down, and then like I don't know, silly idea, but it's not impossible.
Idea, especially if we could pick a good charity for it.
That's the move.
Like try to raise money for something that's really valuable.
Yeah, and then it's like obviously me
like the Sloth Fund.
Yes, Sloth Fund, not Wine Fund.
Yeah, not Wine Fund. Sloth Fund Marathon.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Help Brian.
Help Brian upset Lori.
No,
she's all hyped with it.
Something like maybe US Arc or something like that. I could see doing, or
US Arc might be a good move.
Yeah,
and like maybe like I'll teach Noah too how to run. I mean, it's super simple to run that, but
it's Noah.
But that's true.
He can barely tie his shoes. That's why he says.
Dude, he couldn't even open the fucking door. Watch his vlog. He can't even open a door.
That's
bro.
why he uses Velcro.
God, dude,
on his shoes.
That's what that sounded.
Yeah, no.
Dude.
Noah's probably, if he's watching, he's like, "Dad, you're an asshole.
You're an asshole, bro." But
I love you, Noah.
But no, and like, so if we had 3 of us that could run the board,
right,
that would mean that each of us would have to do theoretically 8 hours of running the board.
Shit.
Right?
That's a lot.
Hey, it's all good, Or we just set it up on a wide and we just chill.
I can barely run my refrigerator
for 8 hours. That TikTok money's not coming in quick enough.
I forgot to check. I was checking TikTok real quick.
Jackie says, also, what were you saying this morning on the vlog that New Gene has orange in it? I wonder what that would do with the Lori ball. Yeah, so the New Gene's super interesting. Like you said, it has like a very orange tint to it. And not only that, but the color and pattern seems like a little bit more neat, I guess you would say too, right?
Yeah, there's definitely something. I think that there's something going on with the gene that is enhancing, making like you said, cleaning up pattern and then increasing orange. And I have no idea what it is.
Now, there's not a possibility that the mystery balls. There's not a possibility that there's
totally,
some.
Yeah, they're totally different. Okay. Yeah, never interlaced. So we have 2 interesting genes: the mystery balls, and then the new gene animals that are very going to take us a couple years. But now that we have a new gene male up to size, we can really start to play with it. And then next year we'll have mystery males up to size, and we can start playing with those, and we can really figure out start to break.
Because I think like in the mystery one, I think there's a few genes that we've talked about it a lot because we look at all the babies together a lot of times, and I think there's certain things that I definitely think I can understand that are going on in there, but there's 1 or 2 things that are happening that are very different.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
Wyatt says, Brian, you help me with my mental health. Thank you.
Thank you, Wyatt. I tell you, again, Wyatt, I'm very passionate about that topic. You know, I mean, about mental health, and
it's
about,
important.
And there's more to come. I've been. Again,
playing with this.
Playing with this idea, how we're gonna make this
video.
I think,
and the really biggest thing is are you ready to do that?
I'm not ready yet.
Okay,
no, I'm not ready to. Yeah,
so whenever you're ready, I mean, the process to me, what we should do is, obviously, first I'll pick your brain of all right, so what do you need portrayed in this video? What are the 10, 20 different things that you're trying to do? Yep. And then we just have to write out scenes, in the sense of ways
I've thought a lot of this whole thing in my head. I'm just not ready for it yet. I want to be at a point where I'm always feeling good.
Right.
Listen, no one's ever always feeling good, but I'm still having days like today. I mean, it was not a particularly great day for me.
I agree.
Yesterday was not a particularly great day.
Yesterday was a whack day regardless.
So I had 2 kind of yucky days in a row.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that tomorrow won't be great.
Exactly.
And I do find that my yuckier days usually have to do with when there's a lot going on that is out of my control, or it's very
negative
stacked
or weird.
Yeah, exactly. You know, when I know things are going on that are unavoidable. And that's what yesterday and today was. We're done with today. Tomorrow's not as bad. Tomorrow should be mentally should be a better day, I think. So we'll see.
I don't think there's anything too crazy going on tomorrow. I don't think we have anything crazy to.
Yeah, I think I have one tour and then just open at the Reptarium.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I mean that's something that's important to recognize, but is also understandable. You know what I mean? Like when things are out of your control, you're not going to feel great and comfortable, especially if there are things that are can impact your life in a big way, or if they're negative. You know, because there's a lot. I mean, there's some family issues with my mom right now, and you know, not doing. You know, she's not doing real great, and my sister's in town, and all kinds of different things that are going on that are kind of out of my control. Just wrenches in the cogs a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and an already crazy life.
So,
Jason.
Jason A. The worst part about having a pet store in the Reptarium would be the impulse buyers that simply aren't prepared to care for what they just purchased.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a valid point. You know, I think that we at BHB do probably a job. I mean, we probably talk more people out of buying animals than any other reptile breeders.
Yeah.
Because we're really, you know, like Beth knows, our policy is
very stringent.
Like we don't want people to buy stuff as a whimsical thing. And a lot of people do at pet shops, especially if you were in a zoo environment where it's like, oh my God, I love Bella. Let me buy that baby iguana. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's not, it almost is like you said, it's almost like forcing a hand where you don't want to, because they're expecting that iguana, and it's just not always the case. We got 501 likes. We can go right now. I'm just kidding.
Can we get 5,000?
Yeah, 5,000, or we're not going anywhere.
5,000, we're not going anywhere.
Jake Lewis actually helped it out. He said, threw a like from my 3 channels. Thank you, bro.
Great. Then we really only have
You're Jerry
498 then.
Because so, guys, you need another 3. And it's funny, so he says, oh, those mystery balls, do you think they could have Super Stripe, Enchi, Yellow Belly, Spectre? Looking through the old videos, I saw some similarities.
So
probably got some stuff in there for sure.
Yeah, so it's certainly got the potential for Yellow Belly.
Red Stripe,
so
probably,
Super
right?
Stripe and Spectre are the same thing.
Yes, and with Yellow Belly,
With Yellow Belly, yeah. So Yellow Belly and Super Stripe Spectre. They definitely could have Yellow Belly. Definitely not Spectre.
I think Red Stripe.
Well, they definitely have Red Stripe too. Right. They definitely have Red Stripe.
And then obviously Lemon Blast.
And they definitely have Pastel and Pinstripe.
Yeah. It's that other thing.
It's the silver part that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Right? You can almost, I mean, the one Lemon Blasty thing is like a Lemon Blast, but we produce Lemon Blast Red Stripe Yellow Bellies
that don't look like that.
Nothing like it.
Right.
Where those almost look like a cheetah-ish type of look.
Yes.
So there's something else going on there, super clean. And then who knows? I mean, I don't know.
And that's the thing.
Speculate.
It's now going. You have to reverse engineer.
Yeah,
right?
reverse engineer. But once you have a male, now I can take it to a normal female and get true.
We should do that.
I will. And we'll start to find out what genes are in there. Single genes.
Exactly.
We're gonna find out. We're start peeling the carrot.
Because you're gonna see. Yeah, you're gonna see one thing peeling the onion. Carrots don't have that many layers, Brian.
I'm crying. You read this. I look up to you a lot. So Wyatt,
love you, Wyatt.
Yeah, I love you, Wyatt, man. I mean, listen, dude, man.
We look up to you, man.
No, that's the thing that I don't think people understand is that how
much they affect you.
Our success is predicated 1,000% on our support
100%.
from people. So. Every single person in this chat, every single person on my YouTube videos, every comment, every like, every share,
is why we have the
favorite
life.
is I am in this life.
Yeah,
I am nothing without them.
100%.
Now that doesn't mean I can't be successful doing something without everybody.
Of course.
I don't know if I could or not. I don't want to know because this is what I'm happy with. And I feel an unbelievable, and Jay, you know this.
Yeah.
There's no one that could speak to this more than you, that the unbelievable debt I feel
towards
to
every one of you.
Person,
and you're so right. And you see that with how you treat people when they come here.
Yeah.
Because you go above and beyond. You do things that take more time out of your already crazy busy schedule to go that extra mile, because you know that dude, the reason you can stand in that zoo has a lot to do with every single person watching this right now.
And sometimes people might think I just watch, or I don't even comment or whatever. But every single person is part of it. You know what I mean? It's not like, if one person is like, oh, I don't matter, then everyone doesn't matter. And then next thing you know, I don't have anything. Yeah. And I think that my biggest nightmare is I've seen YouTubers i.e. Charles Trippy, Magic of Rahat. I mean, the list can go on and on. Even, Fun with Lewis are YouTubers that I really looked up to that were the top of their game.
Yeah.
They were the top dogs. And now they're nothing. Like now they like Charles Trippy has the Guinness Book of World Records for most consecutive days of vlogging.
How many is that?
Can you look up, Anthony? Can you look up Charles Trippy's Charles Trippy's
vlog record?
How many days has Charles Trippy vlogged in a row?
I think
it's like 12 years in a row.
Is he still doing it?
Still doing it every day,
dude.
Charles Trippy
vlog
record. There he goes. Yeah, or whatever. I think it was.
Just type in record.
Yeah, I'd say record would be the better one.
Yeah, go up. Yeah, just type in record. But
yeah, I think that's
so. Now, what kind of stuff did he do? Just like his life?
So he's an interesting guy. Let's see, what has it got?
3,653 videos.
No, that can't be right. That was in 2017.
Oh, okay.
So he's been vlogging for like 12 years straight.
That's fucking crazy. So yeah,
like
another
12
3 years.
Yeah, it's 12 years straight. I mean, literally 12 years straight.
Yeah. That's crazy.
But
though.
anyways, my point
Doesn't
is that he's first off, he's in a band.
Yeah.
That he plays bass. That they're on Warped
that's
Tour,
pretty cool. Yeah,
which is cool. But where he really started was he had brain cancer.
Yeah.
And he started daily vlogging his brain, which, by the way, he's back in radiation after like 10 years.
Man,
after
crazy.
10 years of being out of it. But I've met Charles and his wife, his new wife, and super nice people, super nice people. And but he used to be like on the top. I mean, he was like one of the biggest daily vloggers.
Yeah.
And now he like rarely gets like 10,000 views. I mean,
it's
like most of his
unfortunate.
videos get 5,000-6,000 views.
And now, do you think that's because he didn't really change or evolve?
Yeah, he hasn't changed.
Or is it an attitude thing?
No. His attitude's great. He's
Okay.
a phenomenal guy.
Okay.
And his vlog is great. It's just that his vlog today is exactly like his vlog was
12 years ago. And the world is obviously so different than 12 years ago.
But that's always the fear, right?
Yeah.
The fear is like, oh
Get
my
stagnant.
gosh, what happens if all of a sudden I go from 10 to 15 million views a month to 500 views a month or whatever, and become irrelevant, and it's scary. But at the same time, I have to get to a point where I can't let that bother me.
No, because and one thing that you've always said to me when I was since I've been here is like, no matter what, you'll be doing video content because it's just like part of like
that's who I
what
am,
makes your life. You know, what I
couldn't
mean?
imagine. I mean, when we take a day off of filming, it feels weird.
It's very strange, And usually 90% of the time, I'm filming on my day off. I'm doing something. I might not be here, but I'm filming something. And it's crazy, man. I remember the day when you had me fly out here. It was before I worked here. It was just a trial period. I was at the Comfort Inn in the elevator with my backpack, and I was like, what the hell, man? I'm like going to film right now. Like I'm going to film, and like I was like, dude, I have to remember this moment forever because like I said, dude, life becomes life. And there's days that you're like, you walk, dude, you know how many times I walk past the only night Nile monitor in the fucking world, and I'm like just walking past it like dirt. And then there's days that I just stop and I'm like, oh damn, like this is crazy that I can even say I get to do this.
Yeah, it's interesting how that goes, like you achieve something and then you take it for granted. And it's analogous to like my sister has lived in Hawaii for 27 years
and doesn't care about the mountains, right?
And like doesn't see it's not that she doesn't care, it's she says like I just drive by them every day and I kind of don't notice them anymore.
Yeah.
I don't notice the ocean anymore,
And it's like,
because
what?
it's just every day, whereas you go there and you're like, oh my God, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, you know? And so I think it's. I
guess always just make sure you take a step back and appreciate
I try
that.
to.
Yeah.
I try to. Probably more now than ever, right?
Yeah,
Because now it's like, I mean, when I am feeling grateful and appreciative, and I try to be grateful, like I force myself to gratefulness because if you're truly in the moment of gratefulness, you can't be anxious.
Exactly.
So those are two
they're
opposing forces.
Exactly.
So I try to be grateful constantly so that I'm not anxious constantly. And so more than ever, I'm grateful for all the things around me. But at the same time, like you said, life becomes life. And sometimes you just get lost in the moment and you're just kind of like, okay, well, we're just doing another day of the coolest shit.
I wouldn't doubt if
it
happens to astronauts that are sitting up in the ISS right now looking at Earth and are like, it's Earth.
Yeah.
It's underwhelming. And you're like, how? But even those astronauts have moments that like take them back when they see the aurora one night and they're just having a moment. They're like, wow, I get to do this, you know? And that's all that matters is just always remember, like, no matter what you do, you're lucky to be doing it, you know?
And everything. I mean, what is who's the one that says, like, I think it's Gary Vee that says, like, there's a 1 in X number of millions chance that you were even born.
Yes, yeah, and I've heard that from. I haven't heard Gary Vee say that necessarily, but I've heard many people say that, and it's like the chances that you're even here breathing right now, listen to me talking a slightly Jersey accent is lucky enough, and it's one of the things that I've always said is, like, life is so beautiful. Like, I don't need to look for excess meaning.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all right in front of you. You know, the beauty's right there, and the wonder and bewilderment, the fact that we're here.
One of the crazy things, I read that book recently, The Power of Now.
Yeah, and you talk a lot about that one.
Yeah, I love that book, and I told you this before, but it's, if you really think from a philosophy standpoint, it like bends your mind a little bit, because he talks about how important now is.
Yeah.
Not because he says, if you're thinking about tomorrow will be now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tomorrow is now.
Yeah. Tomorrow's now when you get there.
When you get there. Yeah. And the past was now back then.
Exactly.
So you're always should be in now.
You're shifting through now.
Yeah. You're all that matters ever is now. Yeah. Because now is the only thing that you have.
And it's the only thing that's actually real.
It's the only thing that's real. Yeah. And he talks about clock time not being real.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as clock time.
No, all that time is an incremental measurement of movement, right? We're hurling through the solar system, whether our planet around the sun or our sun through our galaxy, and we're just measuring that and breaking it down into increments. You know. That's
By the way, I saw a TikTok from Neil.
NGT?
Neil deGrasse Tyson, or whatever the heck his name is.
Get an easier name,
he said
dude.
that if the world stopped rotating,
you'd fly
800 miles. You would
miles
roll
per second?
800 miles an hour.
Yeah.
You'd roll 800 miles an hour around the Earth.
And we don't, and because you grew up on here, you just don't feel it.
Yeah, you talked about astronauts earlier, and they said that I saw an astronaut, which, by the way, we've got to get an astronaut on.
I have somebody in my DMs
I know you said that. That'd
saying
be so
something
dope.
about that. So we'll see.
But they said that when you spacewalk, you feel like you're falling.
Weird, and I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, because you are falling to Earth at 20,000 miles an hour.
You're 100% right.
You are falling to Earth when you're in orbit.
I never thought about that either, because I always would have thought like it was like being in a pool.
Yeah, no, he said
like you have that vertigo almost, like
they said the sensation when you step out is that you're falling to Earth.
Yeah, wow, that's fucking cool.
Crazy?
I've never heard that before. That's absolutely wild.
I know, wouldn't that be crazy?
Let's see.
That's crazy.
That's dude, my favorite.
Got any other super chats before we?
Let me see. Go up real quick, baby.
That might be.
I think that's it. We got Wyatt. It says, "Thank you for being you, Brian. Much love to you.
Thanks,
Much love to you too.
Yeah, seriously, and thanks to everyone that joined us tonight for this
this
rendition of Been Wondering.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to try to have our cryptozoologist on. That
would be really
try
cool.
To have on. It would be probably next week. Got to just schedule, and that's why a booking agent would be so nice.
Yeah.
Is I'm going to try to schedule either the cryptozoologist or the Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yes.
The retired Pittsburgh Steeler.
Either one would be brutal.
So I'm going to try to do one of the two. That would be next Saturday at 5:00 if everything works out.
Yeah. So please join us for all that stuff.
But also turn the post notifications on to all.
Yeah.
Because we may go live whenever anyone's in town. You know what I mean? Like whenever anyone's in town, we might just say, hey, let's just jump on a podcast. We'll try to, like you said, always do it at 5:00.
If possible. But but God forbid, like you said, Obama's here and he's like, well, I can only do it at 2. It's like we're doing it at 2, guys.
Listen, Barack, we're going to do it at 5.
Hold your schedule, okay? Hold your schedule.
What possibly can you be doing more important than us?
So keep those post notifications on so that you stay in tune.
Draco
when we're doing it.
Draco and what was the other one?
Draco and Kodak
says happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you.
Happy Saturday. Yeah, I'm going to, when we wrap up here, get to go play with animals at the Reptarium right upstairs. We have all the people upstairs.
So crazy to think of that, right?
Hanging out the Reptarium, and so we're going to hang out with them for the next couple hours. And enjoy that, end our night that way, and then start it all over tomorrow.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me on for one of the first ones, and I'll see you behind the window next time.
We might get Jay a camera so you guys can see him. We may. I'm not sure if he's a good boy.
I'm a good boy.
Yeah, and then there'll be some more building vlogs because we got lots more building to do. We're going to be building, and Sloth. We'll talk more about that soon. So, hey, guys, thank you guys again for joining us. I appreciate it. Just keep looking at the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the other stuff. If you want to listen in your car on your way to work or something like that. Again, love you guys so much, more than I can ever explain. So, you guys have a great night, and we will see you the next time, guys.
Peace.
See you guys.
great.